Look at that fucking production quality.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
What AI model did you use?
What?
So what AI model did you use?
Justin did
I
it.
didn't write
I
this
thought.
one. Yeah, I didn't do this one.
Oh.
Hey, quit touching that. Bastard. He's got like stripes on his tails. Or his tail.
Oh, you are streaming to YouTube
Tails.
as well. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Nice.
Shut up.
Yes. We are streaming to
So-
YouTube the podcast night, so let's just, be a little more conscious about sticking on topic and not calling each other fried chickens.
I mean, can't we still say fuck? A lot of people will say fuck on YouTube.
Yeah, it's just they don't list how many times, but if it's too much, then they start censoring it.
So save it for the end. Got it.
Or just,
Fuck.
or right in the beginning and just censor it from the get go.
Oh, just streaming now?
Yeah, we are streaming. We're just
we're streaming. It's the countdown.
Just
I'm out.
I like to do a little 5 minutes just to kind of bring people in and also make sure that everything's working. Jeff, you got the Twitch, Rumble, and YouTube live chats.
I got all three. Yeah, I just need I don't have the description or I mean, I guess I could do something real fast.
I already did put the description in. You could see it on YouTube and Rumble if you want to just copy and paste it.
Yeah. You want me to just copy the whole thing? I mean, maybe just the top paragraph.
Yeah.
Also, Rashad, that message you sent earlier this week about just saying how much you appreciate everything going on. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. It was nice.
It almost made me stop wanting to be an asshole to you.
Almost.
Oh, by the way, Rashad, since the power went out last night, I refreshed everything. So when I went back into the tier, it refreshed, and no longer do we have all the movies in order from release. I just remembered about that. So, do we have time? No, we don't have. We can try.
Wait, I mean, I gotta go pull up the list. I don't even just have it.
Yeah, no.
So I'm
gonna try and get at least a few of them.
I mean, you start with.
Iron Man.
We've got Iron Man, Hulk,
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2.
I don't see
And
it.
Thor.
Hold on. Where the fuck is Iron Man 2?
I'm the only one doing a shotgun?
No, I'm
Looks
down
like
with you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Iron Man 2, and then Thor, and then Captain America. And then Avengers.
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. And then. You have it on your phone?
I think that's flipped around, yeah.
30 seconds, Rashad.
Okay, yeah, we're just not gonna be able to do it. We'll have the first few.
Make sure to tap on your switch so it doesn't go AFK. You back out right before we start.
17 seconds.
15.
We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Uh-oh.
4,
Easy.
3.
Oh, shit, too.
Yeah, bae.
Here we go. All right, guys.
Oh, God.
Welcome back to
Brandon's
SoberKart. We got another good one for you. We're going to be ranking all the MCU titles, shows, and movies. While we do 8 beers, 24 races apiece. and discuss whether or not the MCU has fallen apart or if they have been able to revitalize themselves. Let's go. Got a few shotguns that are going to be knocking off their board while we show you who owes what real quick.
All right, Easton did one, and Rashad did one. Bring that down from 25,000 to 24,999.
Yeah.
It's forward progress.
How many shotguns?
We also want to welcome in our special guest,
Actually, it's
the
not too bad.
Marvel expert.
Easton 8, Rashad 6, Cody has
I've been
1,
killing
Justin
it.
0, Sean 2, Brandon 3, myself 1.
Also missing one of our staples, but we brought in a Marvel expert. Welcome in to Brandon. Forget how to say your last name. Tomasi.
That's
It's Tomas.
Tomas, and then you wait 5 seconds and say C.
See,
Ah.
Tomas. See,
It's like people who spell Jeff with the GEO and shit. Like they're just trying to find some stupid elegant
Yeah, the
way.
wrong way.
Yeah, the very fucking wrong way.
As always, no drinking and driving. Cannot drink on the first lap. Cannot drink while using items like the bullet bill or off the map. Standard rules for SoberKart. So let's get into it. What are y'all's favorite MCU characters?
Characters. Oh, you want to start with characters? Okay.
Characters.
John, you want to actually start, and then we'll just go around that way?
Sure. My favorites. Yeah, we gotta make top 2. Doctor Strange, fucking badass. Can't really beat him. Actually, we'll just leave it at that. My top is
Your top one is Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
And the second one is the Cape.
The cape. Yeah. It's the cape.
did you say gape?
The cape. Oh my god. Rashad, who's your favorite too?
Probably Black Panther, because obvious reasons.
Because he's white?
Because he died.
Oh, too soon?
R.I.P. Chadwick
Extra.
Boseman.
Uh,
No, I'm definitely.
know,
I'm a
you-
big Doctor Strange fan as well, honestly.
real original, man.
Dorks.
I mean, it just is what it is, dude.
Bitch.
Oh,
Bitch in the hand. My second favorite character, I forgot. Probably gonna be the Grandmaster.
And wizard.
The
I was
Grandmaster.
thinking it. I wasn't gonna say it.
No, the Grandmaster.
You got real quiet.
The Grandmaster from Ragnarok.
Okay. I'll take
Oh,
that. I'll
okay.
take that, dude.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, we'll take it
He's
all
so
day.
good, dude.
Fair enough. Brandon, what you got?
Say Moon Knight.
Really nice, good one. I wish they would have given us more of Moon Knight, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
I
hate
think
what they did with it. But you know, what are you gonna say?
Either the Moon Knight or Punisher. Specifically, are we
Punisher.
counting like
Is
old
that really?
MCU movies?
No, it's got to be in the MCU once the MCU was established in 2008. So.
Oh, well,
Not
technically,
just
John
Marvel,
Bernthal's.
you bitch! You didn't have to.
Technically, John Bernthal is now canon because Charlie Cox is Daredevil is canon in MCU now.
Oh, for sure. Moon Knight and what about you?
Huh? I guess it's me now.
Yep.
That makes sense. I was gonna say Doctor Strange too. I was just
You
talking about
can.
Benedict Cumberbatch. You know, just in general as an actor, I really enjoy his
You got a man
movies and
crush on him?
shows that he's been in. I do.
In MCU?
But as far as the MCU in general, yeah, he's just an awesome character.
Also a doppelganger of sorts.
I mean,
Would
multiverse,
you
man.
suck his? Yeah, you probably would. What about you, Easton?
For a dollar.
Killmonger and Captain America.
Who in Captain America?
Killmonger?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Honestly, I think he is the single best part of the Black Panther film. Or the first one, that is.
ooh, that's a hot take. I do like him as, I guess the villain or whatever, but he seemed to be a little bit of a bitch emotionally when it comes to the whole reason why he lived his whole life was to revenge his father from these aliens, essentially, that he didn't know existed.
His dad got killed in front of him. And it was, and
Not
then
in
he
front
found
of
out
him.
it's because
He found out. He walked in, then his dad was dead. So.
And he found out that it's because his dad had association to a culture that completely like isolated themselves and abandoned his people. So he was just lost.
People. He abandoned
And then
because his
and
mom
then-
wasn't a true blood.
I mean, that sounds like eugenics to me. And Killmonger is just like, God, he's a tough guy. You wanna relate with him just because he's fucking awesome. How many red shells are there?
I had a triple and a single.
Whore.
No, that's fair. Very unique. I like it.
And Captain America, just because him in Civil War and fucking Winter Soldier, like, fuck, God.
Language, please.
Oh, yeah, you said that.
Beasting up Iron Man.
Ugh.
I think
So-
Captain
Yeah.
America is super overrated.
I 100%.
He
agree.
hands out those hands one punch at a time.
Yeah, he's
Everybody's
more
got cool powers. He
he's
just
more like a
punches
hero.
someone in the head.
not really a superhero.
Yeah, he's
pretty
a,
super.
I mean, he's
you
slightly
see him?
enhanced for
Did
sure,
you see him
but
catch a helicopter? That's pretty super. His biceps look huge.
Yeah. Well, they were huge.
there's the man crush.
Yeah.
Tell me what.
You just got a crush on Chris. That's what you're saying. Chris.
Yeah, that's true.
I like Captain America.
There's
when
a-
he's skinny too.
This is.
That's fair. Oh, so
What's his
I think
name?
moving-
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
A lot of Chris's. So going through this, I'm going to try and go ahead and get at least one or two of these movies ranked in between. There is a quick caveat that I added that I didn't mention anybody other than Rashad that kind of makes sense for the sake of dividing them out by the amount of tiers that we have that we're going to be placing them in today. The top two categories can only have 8 movies apiece, and the rest of them will all have 9, or can only have 9. So that'll
You said
structure.
top can only have 8.
Top 2 categories can only have 8 movies apiece,
Okay,
or titles necessarily.
and the rest have to have 9.
No, because there'll still be one that will also only have 8, but they can only have 9. So I think we'll structure that in a way that kind of makes us debate it
Gotta
a
keep
little
it
bit
honest.
more.
Can
keep
we
it a little
already
more honest.
place
Throwing them all in the
obvious?
top 2.
Yeah, can we
I'd
already
like to
place
go
obvious
down
on top?
the list of from start to finish. We're gonna try and rank them in cinematic release.
Okay.
So the first
Okay.
one, Iron Man. What is everybody's thoughts? The greatest, amazing, good, okay, not good, horrible, waste of time.
I'd say. Wait. Okay. So those are your categories. It's not like S to F.
Nope.
I mean, it's great.
I'd put it,
Great.
I'd put it in the
I think it's a
okay
great
category.
movie. I would say great.
Amazing.
The third. I would say the
Good.
third. Good.
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 Now we can revisit these, but that's gonna come into play as we get to different ones. Like fuck, well maybe we'll have to bring this one down or up.
Whoa,
based
man.
off of
Hey,
what we
fried chicken.
You're right.
Fried chicken.
I personally think it would be in the amazing category because they literally structured this movie. They didn't even have a full script written, and they literally built it around Tony Stark. And without that movie, the MCU would not have been actually released. So I would like to put it in amazing, but if you all collectively agree that it be in the third category, I'm okay with that too. It was a good movie.
I just think
It
there's
wasn't one of the
so
greatest.
many great movies coming up that I don't want to just put that, in
Yeah.
the second category.
Yeah. I think it belongs in the second category because of the cultural significance, because
That's
of
why I
what
say,
it did
yeah.
for Robert Downey Jr. But I don't think it stacks up to some of those other films that are coming up. If you just compare them without that cultural significance, just the same as the first Captain America, it doesn't stack up nearly as well. So, I think it's kind of irresponsible to try to compare it to some of the top ones we run into, obviously, like Endgame.
Yeah, that's
Infinity War.
Yeah, we know where that one's going.
all the way at the bottom.
In my fried chicken.
I got a hot take on Endgame since you mentioned it. It's not the greatest. It's good, really good. But it wouldn't be in my top 10 if I had to.
On release in the theater, with everything that was going on up to that movie, it was absolutely top tier.
Yeah, it's exactly what was needed.
It revised the whole the lackluster performance of the prior movies before that, but it didn't in anywhere compare to Endgame. Infinity War, in my opinion. Infinity War was superior.
Fantastic.
It was awesome.
And again, I'm not saying Endgame wasn't great. It's just not top 10.
I think compared to Infinity War, though, too, like Infinity War was meant and made to be that epic. Not to say that Endgame wasn't, but like it had the structure, just like.
Yeah, in Endgame they just spent a little bit too much time on the story and relating it to giving the background of how everything's working to fans that didn't really know what the fuck was going on because they weren't true fans. Which I guess in some sense made it such a good movie because even if you didn't know, you haven't watched every MCU movie up to that point, you could still kind of figure out what was going on. But I would have liked to see a little bit more in-depth details compared to what they did with just basically explaining the plot.
I agree, but don't you think that would like help bring those same people like into the fold, like certain people that weren't already like naturally bound?
I'm ranking this from a
like,
fan, not from a it makes sense to make the most money this way.
Yeah.
And if you weren't here from the beginning, well then shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Been watching these movies since the first one, every single one, live, like, midnight releases on
in theater.
90+% of these releases. At least in the first two phases.
Ooh.
All right, next one, Incredible Hulk release order.
Garbage.
That's the one with Abomination, like, right?
No,
It's the
yeah,
cannibal.
with Abomination.
Yeah.
The only cool part about that is at the end where he goes Hulk smash real epically. Other than that, I think there's one other cool part, and that's when he kicks the one dude into the tree and he tumbles around like a crab.
I like Edward. I like
in the middle
as an actor too, but it's probably.
I would say in the middle. It was more a love story than it was.
Yeah.
Just
I think that
plot and...
presentation of Hulk is the coolest we've seen by far.
Yeah.
Like the design is so cool in that movie.
Yeah, I agree. Personally, I put him in the okay. Like, not great, not good. Overall, Edward Norton was amazing. Again, same concept as Iron Man. They didn't have a full script. They went in, and Edward Norton pretty much took over the character, and he was a cinematic genius within that movie. Again, I think we can all talk about the issues that movie had, and it not necessarily related
that's all you
to
got.
certain... That's all I got. Yeah.
That's all you got.
Are y'all good with okay, or y'all want to put it in not good?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm good with okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably solid. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. That the whole Abomination piece was an abomination. I do like how they brought his character back, because like obviously he couldn't die, so seeing him back in like Shang-Chi later on and shit, like even though he looked completely different, but I guess you can't really complain because so did the whole.
They made him a lot more comic book accurate.
You just spoiled Shang-Chi for me.
Well,
I'm like the only loser who hasn't seen Shang-Chi.
Yeah, pretty much.
We really
well,
haven't seen it.
I don't know.
spoiler alert, there will be a lot of spoilers in
Yes,
this
spoiler alert.
podcast.
If you haven't seen it, or seen a bunch of movies, yeah, you're kind of getting yourself into.
Yeah, guys, this series that's been going on for 20 years. If you haven't watched it, get bent.
I'll admit I haven't seen Brave New World yet, so if anybody's seen that and says something, that will be spoiler for me. But I will not be bringing any spoilers to the table. So.
Oh no, I'm pooping on you for that.
Definitely not.
That's a little different though. It's still in theaters, bro. I haven't gotten a chance with my son to go see it.
Shang-Chi is new for me, man.
Shang-Chi's been out since what? 2019, 2020.
2021, I think.
Don't shoot Tim for him.
Oh my god.
I don't know how I feel about you not saying Shang-Chi and claiming to be a Marvel fan, but it is what it is. We'll move on to Iron Man 2.
I actually really liked Iron Man 2.
I think it falls into the alright.
I felt like it's worse than the first one.
And it absolutely is. Yes. And then he does that cool little whip thing on the raceway. You guys know Elon Musk in that movie? I didn't know that. Yep.
Yeah, barely in that little scene. He's passing them in a restaurant or a little party or whatever.
It goes like, hey man, I heard you're doing a lot of stuff with green energy and batteries, and he's just like, yeah man, yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. He just walked.
I think it's cool to use War Machines the first time. At least get to see them. But other than that, I really feel like it wasn't a whole lot to it.
For me, it was not good.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's honestly a very forgettable movie for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have that one cool scene where they're in the garden when all the drones start attacking.
Yeah, that's
Tony and War Machine. Yeah.
Plus, Iron Man 2, it was put out 2 years after the original Iron Man, and they only did that, even though Kevin Feige claimed that he wanted 3 to 4 years to build that movie. They did it within 2 years, specifically because the MCU took out a massive loan to even create Iron Man and Hulk initially, and they figured why not just go ahead and put Iron Man 2 out so quickly and pay off that loan so then they have full control over to make whatever they wanted to. So it was kind of like that, just that filler place, which again put the MCU on track to be able to come out with the Avengers, Captain America, etc. moving forward. But to me, it was a flop. The villain area was tragic.
Yeah.
It was definitely a reach, but it was interesting.
Y'all good with not good, or you want to put it in okay? We can change this as thing.
Not good.
No, not good.
We got a lot more to go through here.
Yeah.
Not
You
good.
can't flop things around, but
Yeah.
My bird. My bird.
Yeah. I really liked him at what it was. I really liked him playing that character, but man, I think they could have done so much more with it. With how good the first Iron Man was.
Yeah.
You also introduced is 2 the one with the kid, right?
That was the one I was trying to think. Is that 2? Is the one with the kid at the end?
That's 3.
No, that's 3.
Okay, I was getting them mixed up too. I was thinking the same thing just now.
And both 2 and 3 are both hot garbage.
Yeah.
I think 3 is better than 2, in my
I
opinion.
agree.
I agree.
It's pointless.
Not by much. Not by much.
With destroying the suit.
Yeah, but
and then
I mean, if you're just
like, never mind, I made more
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
It was like
I was gonna bring
kind
that
of
up.
like it was just one of those cool little. I mean, you gotta understand how naturally cheesy superheroes can be at times, and I think people forget that. You know what I mean? So it's like, of course, some of it's gonna be filler and all this kind of other shit, but it's like, the kid got a refurbished fucking garage, and here's all the Iron Man's exploding into fireworks and shit.
The funny part about that film is finding out that the big baddie isn't the big baddie. The Mandarin is just some drunk old British actor.
I fucking love that part of that movie, though, honestly.
Yeah.
That shit was good.
For me, the only reason why I put Iron Man 3 better than Iron Man 2 is because that's when they started to kind of bring in a little bit more comedy throughout the entire movie instead of it just being specific scenes.
Yeah.
The whole movie was
most of the original
classified as
comedy
being a
kind of
comedy.
focused around. Yeah, it was really more focused around Tony Stark and him being.
But yeah, the whole
outer
ending where he blows up his suits just to be like, I hate money, actually. Billions of dollars worth of suits. Very big fireworks.
I'm gonna make some more any fucking way.
Quirky.
I only did that because my girlfriend Pepper Potts didn't trust me, but yet I ended up dying. later on.
Would you not risk it all for?
Spoiler alert, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's almost like she knew.
Okay, we're not gonna keep saying spoiler alert. There's just this. This is a spoiler alert podcast. Maybe I should have put it in the title.
Yeah, you probably should have.
We're gonna talk about the MCU for 2 hours and not give away any spoilers.
We kind of skipped a few films there. I think we got to go to the next one.
Yeah, Thor.
First one?
First one,
The first
Good.
Thor. Yeah, we're
It's
doing
not
this in
good.
release order. So
not good.
Do you like the first one?
Yeah,
I
not
think
good.
it's okay.
Tell me a plot point from the first one. Nobody knows. They just know the big robot at the end.
I mean, it was.
I mean,
it
not
was-
necessarily because you get like Loki's character arc at that point too, kind of like bloody a little bit, shit. You know, like, you're gonna see who he's gonna become, where all that anger festers from. Other shit too.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess you can also say it's kind of a love story too.
Yeah, I mean, you get that introduction, and then it's also like sets up for the Avengers and their like conjunction with Earth.
I don't know
You
why.
like-
I just remember that movie so well compared to other movies that came out around the same time.
I just watched it so much.
Yeah. But there's got to be a reason why you
Yeah.
watched it and remember it.
How many beers are we doing?
Right, yeah.
8,
Eight.
24 races.
9 including that shotgun. That's why I skipped drinking. I was like, why am I not need to be?
I would say it's personally. I would say it's on par with Iron
good.
Man.
I think it was better than Iron Man 2, so I'd put it in okay. Just
I
because
definitely
of the
hate
It's
character-
better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah, they put it. They brought a lot of different
Power
character
movie.
arcs in. They gave a whole wacky ass. Somehow brought in theology, the ancient Greek theology, into the MCU, and I don't think they did too bad of a deal. Too bad with it. And the first Infinity
Guys.
Stone, being the Tesseract, is now involved, placing what is now the next 3 years of the MCU. And not
Enter-
dropping that plot point, I think was pretty
So-
impressive with the lackluster plot that they had. At least they kept that point, and they didn't really backtrack on anything that happened with Thor outside the blonde eyebrows.
I mean, like he's hot. Like, I love him. Also, Hawkeye's first exposed in that film. In case people didn't know.
Oh, he is. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
camp in the rain.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm
Jeremy
saying
Renner.
there were so many character introductions to that.
Yeah, ran over by a tractor.
Black Widow,
Poor
fucking
guy.
Colby, whatever her name is.
I mean, Black Widow was.
Oh my
Was in Iron Man.
God,
Oh
dude.
no!
Oh yeah,
That
she was.
fucking-
Hey, buddy.
Don't be in first, man. It's a dangerous place.
Dude, Rashad and I both got lifted up on this big stupid rug, and we're both just like, oh man, first time. Oh.
But yeah. So you all good with okay? I mean, like I said, it's gotta be.
I would
better
say
than Iron Man
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only one saying, I'm the only one saying, like.
2. I would
not
even be
good,
willing to
bro.
put it in good, but it seems like that's not real.
I mean, no, that's where I'm at, but
It was good. It was entertaining. I'd watched it multiple times. I would watch it again eventually.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's not. There's
It's a
nothing
good movie.
fantastic about it, but it's.
no, it's not.
I would
crazy,
put
but
it kind of where Iron Man was, but let's vote. Easton says not good. I say good. Jeff says good.
I'm also okay with good.
I'm good. I'm okay with good.
All right, well, we're gonna
All right,
move it
looks
up.
like good.
Sorry, Easton. Your opinion's not good.
What's lower than not good?
Fried chicken good.
I'll move to good
All right,
here in a second.
next
I'm gonna
movie.
race.
Not the only thing that good about me.
Captain America.
The first one?
The first one. Yeah, we're going in release.
Put it at the bottom, please, and just not a second
Garbage.
about it.
Are you all kidding me?
I'm doing good.
Dude,
Yeah.
good. Oh my god.
The first
Captain
Captain America
America's
was
overrated.
horrible.
Captain America is like.
Stop.
Literally pathetic.
It's all about a little twig going through
Done
a
without
procedure.
watching that movie. And that's what we're talking about.
It's a sob story.
It only introduces the arguably first or second most important Avenger, as well as like sets up the the entire super soldier canon stuff to make it relevant later on when we get to
That's
the story.
fine, but that movie was ass.
No, it's not. Oh my god! And then that also brings the Tesseract back in.
As a purely entertaining movie, it's not very entertaining.
It's not.
I think, when it's compared to other movies.
For me,
However, it
as
is
a fan,
You just talked about Thor.
I
You
would
just
put
talked
it-
about Thor.
Thor's
kinda-
way better.
Give me one other action sequence other than the final fight in Thor right now.
I'm kind of on
All of
the Easton's side. I'd put it in the amazing category. Being an MCU fan, Captain America, being
Captain America, an amazing
being
category.
however many years it was prior to everything
God.
else, also bringing the story in that I talked about with Thor, with Tesseract, bringing it forward, putting him in, and then having him be that character. I think out of any of the superheroes, Captain America stuck the truest to his original development film. They already
that's
had
true.
it.
That
They
is
already
true.
had who he was supposed to be, and he didn't change. There wasn't no altering. Like Tony Stark got a little bit more quirky and funny, and then a lot more serious, and then stopped. Thor obviously was all over the fucking place. Bruce Banner, same concept. There was no changing with Captain America. And if you're looking at the MCU as a whole, as in this is just each movie is just one episode, and it's a whole fucking large ass series. Captain America was pretty amazing in the grand scheme of things. I get what you're saying in terms of it not being cinematically crazy, all these crazy things going on, but again, it was set back fucking 50, 60 years or something. I forget. Sorry, before the timeline was even started, so being able to bring that in the way that they did it, I was a fan. I would put it in amazing, but I can't say it's anything less than good.
Yep.
They brought in Bucky, Peggy, Carter, the Red Skull, Hydra.
Yeah, honestly, you know what's cool? Seeing mega Nazis shoot baby Nazis. That's awesome. You know how metal you gotta be to go schwack picture Nazis?
I'm still not on the trend.
Well,
No, I think it's an important film. I'm
What-
just
the
biased
level
because
of-
I really don't like Captain America.
yeah. So my vote's amazing.
I think good. I don't think amazing personally, but that's a movie I can rewatch and still enjoy it.
I would say it's good.
For sure, good.
I think good's got to be the agreed.
We can get to it later.
Right then. Yep. Good,
Ass.
good it is. Yeah. Waste of time.
We all know
definitely
he's
not
from
that.
Black Panther 1 and 2.
Just wait till we get to this.
I don't think you've seen Wakanda Forever. Right?
Barely, brother.
Wakanda Forever, the second Black Panther?
Yeah. You seen the second one?
No, I haven't even watched it.
Yeah.
So, we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there for sure.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet.
Okay, so Captain America is going in the good category. The next on the list is the first Avengers.
Fucking
He drove a D.
fantastic.
First Avengers
I
film.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's also
Fantastic.
amazing. I saw it in
Amazing.
theaters. That's top tier. It was the first time we saw that big conglomeration and
Yeah.
cinematic universe come together like that with such finesse and beauty. Oh my
They're so
lord!
good. I mean,
Granted, a lot of their costumes look kind of bad, but
They look fucking.
I mean,
but
also comparatively to what we have later in the MCU, at the time it was crazy. It was groundbreaking. It's the first
That's
time
one thing I tried to.
you've seen all of them combined.
Is what Avengers released in 2012 as well, too, right?
yeah.
Taking into account what it did for the MCU, but also where we were in place of the world and everything else, what their abilities were cinematically, that's pretty dope. I mean.
But you can
That
also
first.
that was good, Isha.
Now you go.
I would say that was the test run, to see if it all was gonna work.
Yeah.
right? Because like if it bombed, then nothing, like everything they had afterwards planned wouldn't have went through. They wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be having a stream right now.
Yeah.
I think we're streaming because the first Avengers did good.
It's
I mean,
the only way.
That in particular.
that in particular, specifically.
No, I
think there's better movies later on that we'll talk about for sure. But as far as like what has come out and then that came out, that blew everything before it like out of the water.
Yeah, I agree. It was pretty great. I would have been okay with amazing, not the greatest, because there's only a few movies, in my opinion, that would even make the greatest. But because we're structuring it in 8 and 8,
that's true. I would put it at the top.
It's got to be the greatest
top 8
because there's just not that many other ones that, in my opinion, would be in that category. Does anybody disagree?
I agree.
I agree with that for sure.
It's definitely a top 8 Marvels movie.
Yeah. Next, we got Iron Man 3.
Boo!
The only thing I remember for that movie is that people get glow red and they blow themselves up or something like that. That's like the only thing I remember.
That's peak anti-terrorism is what that is.
Like
Military-industrial complex is IOP.
And Iron Man 3 was what, like 2013 though too, so we're like right in this era.
Wasn't that also when the new Falcon was also introduced?
No, that's when they did. That's when they did. What's his freaking name?
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
They're running
United States, the U.S. version of Iron Man, basically.
I'm thinking of the wrong black guy. My bad.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. What did they call him? I can't remember.
The Air Force fucking colonel or.
Yeah, and it was Rhodes, but it wasn't. He went from War Machine.
No, War Machine. War Machine was in the first one, or the second film.
Yeah, but they changed. They rebranded him.
Recasted it.
No.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah. He went from Don Cheadle to where the fuck it is now. Or no, it was Cuba Gooding or whatever the fuck it is.
No,
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr. Terrence
I don't know why.
Yeah, Terrence Howard.
That's the most racist characterization. It's a light-skinned dude with a soft face.
There's only 2 of them, so you're 50% of the way there. Soft face. What does that even mean?
Yeah, that is the movie.
Oh,
You
shit.
mother! Oh!
That's hilarious.
Ooh.
So, what are we
This
thinking?
is starting to feel real intentional, man.
Iron
Like,
Man
dark.
3, pretty bad. I mean, not a waste of time. I wouldn't say it's. I put it kind of like.
I was putting
Not
a
good.
little below Iron Man 2.
It was so from a theatrical perspective. You know, I could give it some points
Yeah, the
there.
theatrics. Yeah, I agree.
Even.
I mean, it
even
came
the fighting
after
scenes
the
was
first
kinda
Avengers
cool.
movie, so I feel
Right.
like that's where they started to become a little bit more cinematic.
And I think they are probably also kind of rode the bank or rode the pig. What am I trying to say? Rode the back of Avengers and
Ride a pig.
Let's take a pause for riding the pig real quick.
don't have another one. Don't have another one. Don't have another one. No,
I did, but yeah. I fucking went into the grass because I thought I would get mushrooms.
I was wondering what
and
happened to
had
you. I was
triple
like, what
reds.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Alright, so Iron Man 3, not horrible. It was okay for me, but if y'all want to put it in not good, I'm kind of okay with that.
Where's Iron Man 2?
Iron Man 2 is not good.
I would say it's
And
about
that was-
there.
I would say it
It's
was
either
slightly
there or
better
right
than
above
that.
I
Yeah.
would put it one category ahead of it, but.
I mean, plotline wise, MCU as a progression, Iron Man 3 really didn't do anything but.
I would
introduce
also
the Ten
kind of
Rings and the
be okay
Mandarin.
with it
You
being a waste
cannot
of
watch
time.
that entire film and miss nothing.
Yeah,
That's
so
the problem with it.
that's
Yeah.
where I was like, man, it could also go in the waste of time category.
Yeah. But I mean, now we got to look at the metrics of how we're going to place those things.
It's
in that
still
regard,
entertaining.
Yeah, it is more entertaining
Yeah.
than Iron Man 2 in my opinion, but the plot.
I'm completely okay putting it in the okay category.
Learning you got a new war machine.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that as well. Honestly.
Putting the okay with a complete okay of overhauling it to the waste of time if we need it later on.
I mean,
everything below that should be around the same.
I mean, if I'm cleaning or doing laundry or something and it's on, I'll watch it. I'm not gonna change it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
But I'm
it's
not gonna
entertaining.
seek it out.
These are still Marvel movies that we're watching. So.
Yeah.
Thor: The Dark World.
Waste of time.
Garbage. I don't even remember.
Garbage.
There's elves.
Garbage.
Waste of time.
I literally just finished it today, and I was mad that I watched it. Again, I could have watched literally something else. But...
Yeah, I thought it was garbage.
So,
I mean-
Thor 2.
They introduced, was it the Reality Stone or is it the Soul Stone?
it was the reality ether.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's about the only thing it's got going for it.
Yeah, see, that movie was supposed to be a lot better. They no, for real. Kevin Feige even had talked about this in an interview before. That according to him, that the MCU oversight board, which was created right after the Avengers movie, actually vetoed him because he was, again, being the main writer of the MCU, coexisting with Stan Lee, wanted to have Hela as the villain in that movie.
Hell no.
Who was Thor Ragnarok's villain, which, you know.
Yeah, and that's the reason why, I mean, that was a much better film.
And
that's the
instead
first
they
good
put these,
Thor
like,
film.
the most forgettable villains in the fucking world, the Dark Elves. Like, who the hell are these guys? So,
Never see
again,
them
the
again.
movie should have been better.
Sweet.
I think this was the prime example of the first flop in the MCU based off of politics. It could have been so much better if they just let the same people that were doing the first phase continue with what they were doing. But no, money got involved, so therefore they had a board, and politics got involved, unfortunately. So, my opinion is also a complete waste of time. They ruined this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say bottom of the barrel. For sure.
Definitely one of the worst.
It was the first movie I forgot about. Like, years
Yeah,
later, I was like,
think-
holy shit, they did have another one. They did have a Thor.
Oh, I thought I had it.
When you moan.
But yeah, it was pretty atrocious. Anybody disagree that it should be at the bottom of the barrel? Waste of time?
Absolutely not.
Who the hell would agree?
First
Who would
time we've
disagree with
agreed.
that?
The first time we've all collectively agreed, that is that.
Captain Falcon, or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. No, wait, that's a TV show.
No.
Hold on a
What are you
second.
talking about?
Yeah.
That came out after Endgame.
That's like
I
phase
know,
3.
I know,
yeah.
I know. We're talking
Phase
about
4.
Captain
Sean, do you want
America
me
and
to
Winter
pop up
Soldier.
a chronological order?
Yes,
So-
Captain
I
America's
already
Winter
have it.
Soldier is
I'm
a
just,
W&a.
it's just these things are like listed in a weird way.
Yeah, they got
Crime
way
thriller.
New World. Where am I missing this? If y'all can see,
I mean,
my
Age of Ultron.
screen-
I can't see anything.
Easton, you're
It's off the Discord.
we gotta wait, man.
What the fuck? I'm not seeing this shit.
What
Oh,
the
there
fried
it is.
chicken?
There it is. No,
Man,
it's
we're
not.
already not listening.
I found it. I figured out what I did.
I-
Avengers is up there. And then...
Iron Man
This.
3, we already talked about. The Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
Winter Soldier.
for. I put, right here. Captain America Winter Soldier is the next one.
They're good.
Thought it was actually pretty
Okay.
good, yeah.
They're
I
good
think-
or
I think
amazing.
it's amazing, yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
amazing.
Crime thriller? Dude, that elevator scene?
Oh, yeah. And it comes back later in Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah, we can run it
Yeah.
back.
I
Dude,
like,
Rumlo's-
even though I don't
Rumlo's
like
big.
Captain America very much, I thought it was a good movie. So,
Like Bucky
That
is just
kinda-
such a
that kinda
cool
says-
villain.
Dude, he goes hard. He's
Yeah.
got guys on payroll who just hand him guns. Think about that shit. Like,
And for me,
they're
they
just there
also
just to give him a gun.
For me, this was like when they really first introduced the evolution of Hydra beyond the first Captain America, which ended up playing a pretty big part for the next entire phase. Again, nothing I can say negative about the movie in general, outside of potentially the beginning, which is pretty slow.
Yeah, they go beat up some dudes on a boat. Fuck them.
Yeah. But once the movie got going, it didn't really stop, and like I said, it was very entertaining. So that would be the only reason why I would say maybe only amazing instead of the greatest, because again,
I don't think it's the greatest.
But because of the
yeah.
structure that we're doing, 8 movies, I don't really see another one taking its place beyond MCU, so I'm okay.
Yeah,
with the greatest.
I think it falls in the greatest category because it's one of the few films in this entire list that you can watch it as a standalone film, have nothing to do with any of the Avengers or like Marvel universe, and like it can still be an entertaining and captivating film. Just like Captain America as a character on his own. You know, you get introduced in the first fucking oh my god, beer. You get introduced in the first act, and it's just showing just that they're fucking just absolute studs. And then it turns into spy thriller, and like they're like, oh my god, all the people we trust and know, they're actually Nazis. And then you're like, oh my god, and then it just runs away with it. You're my friend? I thought you died. And then they cut the great parts.
Yeah, like just that trope alone, right? Because in the first Captain America, Bucky falls off the train, right? When they're trying to like take it over.
Yeah.
And you think he's dead, but then you find out he comes back. And
Bigger jaws. You son of a bitch!
I think it's such and the action scenes, like the scene where they're in traffic and they're all just having a shootout between like Black Widow, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier. It's just such a good movie.
Yeah, and then even Nick Fury in his fucking like Suburban, and like it's just like, oh, the integrity of the windows, it's about to go down, and then like he's just like, okay, activate, and then he pulls a fucking machine gun out of his glove box and smokes those dudes after they bust open the window. You're like.
Also, another little fun fact about that movie: they actually did not use any CGI in any of the main fight scenes. They actually spent hours and hours doing true fight choreography. Jesus Christ, I can't say the word. Choreography. Thank you. So I thought that was also a pretty impressive piece. But yeah, I'm putting it in the greatest.
Chris Hemsworth fucking biceps, or Chris Evans biceps, dude. Caught that helicopter.
That's probably why it looks so good. It's because it's not. Yeah, it looks great.
It was real.
Yeah. And then like when they're in the shield carrier at the end, and like Captain America and Bucky are fighting, and he finally like convinces him to kind of like swap, and you don't really know if he swapped or not.
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
Ron, are we close to halfway ranking these?
No.
Because on the next race, we need to be halfway about.
We're getting there. I mean, a lot of the latter ones there, I think are gonna go a lot. This is also the whole nostalgia phase.
Dog shit
shit too. So I'm not stressing where we're at right now.
Yeah, I think the nostalgia kind of wears out pretty soon for me.
Jeff is just ready to go to bed at 9:30.
So we got Guardians of the Galaxy next. So we put that in the greatest, right? Am I wrong?
Yep.
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm gonna put this in the amazing category. It was pretty fucking great.
I agree.
Fucking soundtrack, bringing all new characters in who were nobody actors. Nobody knew anybody's name at the time, unless you've seen Parks and Recreation. You maybe knew Chris Pratt, but
WWE, Dave Bautista.
Yeah, Batista, don't forget the boy. Yeah, it's always good.
Completely standalone movie.
I agree.
Absolutely fantastic movie.
Fantastic.
I can't put it in the greatest because it was kind of like a beginning film.
And it doesn't really stack up. But, like, I think that movie added a bunch of 80s songs to a bunch of young people's playlists.
The
for no
soundtrack
good
alone
reason.
brings it from good to amazing. Like, and then of course the introduction of the Power Stone, which again I like all the shit whenever they bring in.
It also
Infinity
introduces
Stones, that
Thanos.
Yeah, well, that was technically introduced.
Well,
in,
yeah.
Well,
Came a
you
little
see him
bit
in the
earlier at the
post-credits.
end of
Yeah, but like, what's his name?
but you actually got to see,
Ronan?
yeah, Ronan.
Ronan, right?
Yeah, but you actually get to
Ronan
see
the Cuck
him
Lord.
instead of it just being seeing his legs at the end credit scene. So, yeah, no, it was. So are we all in agreement? That's our first amazing categorized film.
I agree. Yep.
You said second highest?
Yeah, second highest. Do you think it should be higher, lower? What do you think?
No, I mean, we'll see how it goes afterwards.
Yeah.
I agree that it's amazing.
It's hard to say now.
Yeah.
I
Pretty
absolutely love that movie, and it's probably the first movie that wasn't as serious, and I kind of like it for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Age of Ultron.
Amazing.
You think so?
I loved it. Introduced Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch.
The Mind Stone? No,
Not that
not the
film.
first time with the Mind
I
Stone.
introduced him, and we never got to meet him.
Yeah.
Ultron is such a cool villain.
It's an okay
Ultron is
film.
badass.
Ultron is
Ultron's
a
boss.
cool villain.
It's an okay film for me.
It's
Like,
mid as fuck.
The scene where
main
he-
reason why I state that is the whole categorize of the Civil War movie was supposed to be the Avengers movie. And for me, if you're comparing the two, which was released a year later, Civil War was more like an Avengers movie than the original Avengers movie. The preface
We haven't
to
gone
the
over-
villain was just so quick and rapid, and it was more of like this AI program apparently with an Infinity Stone that was emotional. Like I didn't really get that side of it. Again, I don't dislike the film. There's a lot of great points, but in terms of the whole MCU as a whole, being a super fan, it was okay in terms of the overall plot. It didn't fit.
Yeah,
in
and
a lot of
Iron
pieces.
Man,
There was
I
a lot of
heard-
misses in the movie.
Tony Stark is the exact reason why all the problem fucking started. He didn't
Right.
learn his lesson. He goes from character development in his first 3 fucking movies to be like, never mind, guys, I'm just gonna do something stupid, even though some don't do it.
I also didn't like that part. And again, it was almost as if Civil War and Age of Ultron should have been one movie combined, but instead they kind of like capitalized on going ahead and just make multiple films and make more money that way because we still sell them. These movies are selling like hotcakes.
They definitely
Another
could have
example
compounded
of
those.
just not doing what's right for the fans and so trying to take advantage of it. Again,
I think
it was a
there's
good
also-
movie.
Like,
It was an
like,
okay movie.
plot-wise, it introduced Sokovia, which eventually led into like Civil War.
Exactly.
Also, it brought out like the Hulkbuster armor, which is like a comic thing. Quicksilver, which is technically an X-Man, but not, I guess, an MCU yet officially. And Ultron is just such a sick villain. Like the scene where he has Black Widow captured and he's like talking to her, going through this whole monologue, and then he rips one of his bodies apart to reveal a bigger, stronger
And a
body.
lot of people don't recognize the
Like,
fact
but
that
it's
was
kinda
actually
hard.
that was the first introduction to Black Panther. I mean, it
That's-
had its key points
No,
in the plot.
Black Panther was Civil War.
Yeah, he was
I
Civil War.
know.
yeah.
Well, you didn't see Black Panther, but you saw the villain and the type vibranium. The only other thing that
Oh,
vibranium
yeah,
you ever
yeah.
heard was from Captain America's shield. But
Mm.
then you got the
Yeah, so
the guy who
brawlers,
sold,
all his noobs.
and he was the one talking about the special place where he knows where to get vibranium. I forgot his name, but
The
It was
fucking
Australia,
Eric or whatever the
arm.
fuck is that?
Yeah.
yeah, the guy got his arm cut off. So it's kind of like hinting towards this whole new place that he knows about, but it's secret. So you could already see that in the plot they had
Or it's just
already
Black
knew that
Panther.
Wakanda and Black Panther was going to be a thing. it just didn't work out. So again, it's an okay film for me. I'm completely content putting it in good, but I definitely would not put it in amazing. What are y'all's thoughts on it?
No, I definitely don't think it's amazing. I would say good.
No, I don't think good. I think okay.
I think good.
Yeah, I think okay. If
at
you're
least
gonna put
good.
it anything higher, I would put it okay.
I
Okay,
think
so
good.
we can put it in good, but it's gonna be the first film that gets dropped down to okay if we need the slot.
We'll see what
so
else
far.
goes into good.
Yeah.
as we
Yeah,
go on.
a lot of,
Ant-Man.
a lot of movies left. Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, I got a lot to say
Okay.
about this, but y'all take the floor. Actually, let me go ahead and take the floor. This movie
Ant-Man, good.
was supposed to come out in 2003, prior to the collection of MCU. Edgar Wright, who was the original director, he left after conflicts with the MSP, or what they call the Marvel Studio Parliament that was created after the original Avengers. And they just essentially let him go, even though he had already had an entire script written. The movie could have been so much better than it was. I still think it was great. I mean, especially with the influx of knowledge of, shrinking tech that they used from quantum tunneling, which was a real thing in quantum physics. I think they did a good job, but most of the good parts came from Edgar Wright, and he wasn't even there to finalize all of the script writing for the users, because he was sitting on a script for over 10 years. So, I still think it was a good movie. It could have been one of those ones that we were talking about with the greatest. But, again,
For me, I really enjoyed it, right? Because it introduced like Hank Pym, the Pym particles, well, like I guess the Wasp as well. But you find that out later. But I think for me, Paul Rudd really made the movie like. It's kind of like a Ryan Reynolds Deadpool kind of situation, right? Like that's like the perfect
like I
casting.
couldn't see anyone but him playing that.
Yeah.
I just think that
He's a
they
great, funny
really
actor.
fucked up on the villain area on this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Paul Rudd is fantastic, and he made the character what it is. And I think the supporting actors and actresses as well are amazing. I think that the story is simple. It's a good introduction to the character, and just it's an easy movie to follow. Like, it's not something too crazy and elaborate.
So I'm good. I don't know if I can say amazing, strictly because the whole villain scenario is just, in my opinion,
At least it's not Mark Waltart or fuck that dipshit is in that last one.
I forgot
Dog?
his name. Yeah, go.
Dog?
Yeah. Fucking A. God, you might as well name him Cuckler while you're at it.
I really want to put fucking Ant-Man a lot higher than just a good category, but where y'all's thoughts at ranking wise?
I think good.
I would say just good.
There's a sign here!
I
The
think
comedy
it's,
was great too, and it was funny. It was good. Easily.
Yeah, dude, you got a bunch of dudes fucking they're locksmiths and they're fucking criminals. You know how clever and funny that is?
Also, in my opinion,
yeah, dude.
one of the best side comic relief characters in the entire MCU.
that guy, I don't know his name.
Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not Lopez. Yeah, it's fucking damn it. Something Pena. He's in Fury. Yes.
He was so good.
He's such a hilarious guy. He's like, yeah, no, and then I had a dog, and then it died, but
could be worse. It was just so good, man.
but it'll be okay. I got the van at least.
I got the fan.
So I think if like Ant-Man, it was kind of like, I guess Captain America, the first one for us. I think it's really hard for a film, at least in the MCU and how long it's been drawn out, to introduce a character, the background, and then set up the next few movies, and also be like amazing.
I would agree with you. except for a movie that we're about to talk about after Civil War.
Yeah, but if it's a one-off versus however many other movies they made establishing character storylines, you know?
Right.
Right.
Uh,
Well,
but I
that movie
think
I'm
it
talking
also
about is
kind of
Doctor
fits
Strange.
their mold a
Does not
little
fit
bit.
that mold.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I also love Spider-Man.
How they like came in, because that's, I mean, you get those little snippets. That's why we know Marvel for, you know, make
I mean,
sure
you
you
got
watch
Black
after the credits.
Panther, the first Black Panther movie. You got the first Spider-Man movie, and you got the first Doctor Strange movie. All of those were, in my opinion.
So where are we putting
super
Civil
good,
War?
so.
To me, it's one of the greatest.
Greatest.
It doesn't really get much better.
Yeah.
Yes.
They brought in
Huge.
Spider-Man.
Again, this is why I had shit talked
Black
on Age of
Panther
Ultron.
going in fucking just.
Black Panther.
It was more of an Avengers movie to me than Age of Ultron. And it was what Age of Ultron was supposed to be, a combination of it. And even though it took some of Age of Ultron took some of Civil War's plot or the writing side of it out, it still delivered fully to the fans in every way. There was a little bit more of like the disagreement that I had with how Tony Stark's character changed, and he was basically being a Nazi. But
Yeah, you just like, nah, dude, we gotta fucking suck the government's dick.
But I'm gonna go ahead and put that off to him decide, or them, the writers deciding that was his character hierarchy from Age of Ultron and not claiming it.
Yeah. After he fucking literally fist fucked fucking Sokovia, then he's just like, wait a minute, guys. Actually, maybe we should have some oversight. You know, I thought about what I did, and it's put his shit in now. like, fuck off, man. Like, you might as well go fucking get ass fucked by your boyfriend. Like, fuck off.
I think also too, like, it introduced Spider-Man, like, just enough to get people like really excited for like his solo movie to come out. I think it really helped set up like
From a marketing standpoint, it made a bunch of money. It was one of the highest grossing films at the time prior to the game. It was a Captain America movie, not even an Avengers movie, which blows my mind how it still made so much money. And overall, like I said, it was just one of the greatest I think I've ever seen. If I had to put 3 films in the greatest only, it would still make it.
Yeah, the second you see fucking Ant-Man like roll out of the fucking van like a drunk asshole, you're just like, oh shit, it's getting real, boy. I went and picked him up, and I'm just like, oh god, this is great. I'm fucking sold.
You know, allegedly that was the last time that Rhodes was actually him.
Yeah.
He was a whatchamacallit?
The candy bar?
Secret Invasion?
No!
Yo, watch Secret Invasion?
Yeah. Because he's one of those fucking...
We'll get to that later.
Yeah. Apparently that was the last time he was actually him.
One of them
So we're
scrollers.
putting Civil War
Scrolls.
in the amazing category. I think it's only 7.
Great. Oh, greatest? Greatest?
No, the greatest, yeah. How is it not the greatest? Is that not what we were talking about?
I'm sorry, I heard amazing when you said that. I was like, are
He
you
did just
maybe-
say
maybe-
amazing. Yeah, I mean,
Top
he
tier.
landed it.
Top
amazing.
tier film.
I think also that was the first Marvel movie to have that many heroes in one film.
Might be right,
It
actually.
was really like an Avengers film. Next
Yeah,
on the list, Doctor Strange.
Top tier.
Yeah, top
Three,
tier.
Also,
Top tier.
one of the greatest. Little
Really?
fun, quirky fact. Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, also voiced Dormammu in that film.
And Dormammu, can I fuck your butt?
He was the
He also did
antagonist
Morgan,
and
or
the
in the
hero.
Hobbit movies. This one.
Anybody disagree? Should be the greatest. I don't think we have to get into this outside of just stating
I disagree. It does not stand up with other films in that category. It
I'd
is
say-
a good film, but the
Captain America
fucking
is
final
overrated.
boss, he beats just by being like, "Hey man, are you gonna get bored or not?" What
Yeah.
the fuck is that?
He has the time stone. Like,
When you
Yeah, I know. Like,
Dude,
It's
if you've
all
ever
skinny,
watched a
like-
movie on shrooms, that is the movie to watch on shrooms. It makes
Okay, but
sense
drugs
so
aside.
much. So much,
It's
dude.
still great.
I have to take drugs to like
Guardians
this
of the
movie.
Galaxy Volume 2.
No, it was a great ride.
Interstellar. Don't say that.
Interstellar, we're not talking about that, man.
Well, he said movies to watch on drugs.
Yeah, but specifically Marvel
But
movies.
beyond that, dude, everything about that movie made sense. You talk about the epitome of trying new things that did not exist in the MCU prior to that, and they actually stuck, and not only just stuck, but ended up becoming
A major
staple,
fucking part of the whole.
staple of the entire MCU for the following 5+ years. And
Yeah, I
honestly,
hope
is
it
one
does.
in the conversation
So
of now
good.
being the leader of the Avengers after Tony Stark's death. Like you can't
Okay.
say. And while we were on the subject just a second ago about how it was so hard to make a film of a introduction to a character and it also being good, this is the first time they did that, and it was just amazing. I don't have any complaints about the film outside of later on, which it wasn't even about this film. It was how
And he
they were
only
able
got
to
his
go
power
put the
because he fucking was not paying attention to his fucking like super rich fuck off guy car and drove off a fucking cliff. He can eat a bag of dicks. Fuck that. Like,
Well, it seems like Easton's the
But
only
he
one
was
that
humbled
has an
because of
issue
it.
on this.
Yeah, put it top tier.
Top tier.
So, I would say it's good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd say it's like the best, the greatest. I would say it's amazing.
I swear to God, if you guys say some whack shit later after putting this top tier, be like, oh, Thor Ragnarok doesn't belong up there because Korg makes some dumb jokes. I swear to God, I'm gonna shit your bag in front of your house.
Okay, well, I don't think it can be. I mean, it could be amazing, but right now we only have 3 other films outside of Doctor Strange in the greatest category, and we're running out of the greats outside of a couple that will probably obviously make it important.
Yep,
to all of
we
us.
already
I am-
did.
So
I'm fine with it at the greatest. I can see
And Winter
that.
Soldier.
I'm okay with that. I'm not opposed.
Fanboy.
You should try being better at knowing movies. You're giving movie criticism like fucking Sean gives music criticism.
it all sucks.
That's rough.
It all
That's
sucks.
rough. Don't say that. You made a statement about Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack being
Doctor
great.
Strange. All right, I'm gonna go pee, but while y'all discuss Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Point 2. Greatest.
Guardians 2 is
It's
fucking
greatest.
good. That motherfucker's great.
But
It's really good.
I'm gonna get a little
Maybe it's-
preemptive, but I'm gonna say that the trilogy from Guardians of the Galaxy is by far the best in all the MCU.
It's the most consistent.
By far.
and-
I
yeah.
agree. I can agree with that. I definitely.
Oh,
You
yeah.
really just said that, and you were gonna like compare it. You're gonna compare it.
What did y'all put
Yeah.
this at?
Huh?
What did y'all put this at?
Uh,
Before
we
you
haven't
say, I didn't
put
hear
it
anything,
anywhere.
but I'm gonna put it as not good.
Really?
Oh, yeah, no, you're way off. the mark.
Really? Why? What about it?
Okay, so the movie was good. Soundtrack also great. You know, they fit all those boxes. But again, I'm an MCU super fan here, and the Celestial Father not being a true Celestial, a one-off Celestial, that doesn't make any sense. The biggest plot hole in the entire, out of every film so far that we've come across. It drops at a lot of points for me, and which was also the antagonist side of it, so I can't put it in an amazing category or higher personally. Again, I love all the Guardians of the films. I'll watch it again as a standoff, or if you just watch the 3 Guardians films together, that makes sense. But if you're adding all the MCU involved, Volume 2 was just a miss in terms of plot holes, back, left, and right.
Half the party's sitting in a fucking forest. Like, are you shitting me? You're gonna sit there and circle jerk them and then have a useless fucking little pirate fucking funeral and shit? Like, fuck off. It does not compare. Captain America trilogy is, yeah.
Fanboy here.
The first one it's not nearly as good as the second and third. But tell me you would not rewatch the second and third any day. The second
I
you
would
can
rewatch
watch
the
without
first
even
Guardians
talking
over
about
watching the
Marvel.
Captain America for them.
If I had to pick, if both of them were laid out in front of me and I had to pick what movie I wanted to watch, which trilogy, I'm picking Guardians.
I mean,
I agree.
because you guard a lot of balls, okay? You know what Captain America doesn't do? You guard blacks because he's racist.
Again, from a movie standpoint, it was a good movie. From an MCU perspective, I have some issues with it, so that's how I have to kind of rank it.
DC'd.
Oh no, add it.
What's it like to be in last?
Go ahead and just make it. I think this is the one
Okay.
that's most just all over the board.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Sure. Meet in the middle.
I mean, good's fine, but I don't know anything higher than that. Just not true in terms of the MCU.
No, I don't think it's one of the greatest at all.
Yeah. So it's
Guardians
going-
of the
Guardians
Galaxy
1
films
is
in
better.
general.
Oh, for sure, it's better.
Yeah,
Number
I
1 and
agree.
3 are better.
Number 1 is better. Yep.
See, the fact that the MCU lost James Gunn is
Okay,
it's
so
gonna hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. But again,
James Gunn he's
I would have
he's
a
part of
completely
the Jurassic
different-
World film.
different opinion if it wasn't for the fact that apparently this guy, this Celestial, who's not really a Celestial, was putting all these flowers and shit.
I'm
on-
sorry I put that tumor in your mom.
Yeah, put a tumor in your mom
What?
to fucking have a kid with you. Oh my god, that lightning, dude, no way. And then again, apparently this killed a bunch of people and was taking over cities on Earth, and it never got talked about in the entire rest of the universe. Like,
Dude, just don't worry about it, man. Plot holes.
I don't like plot
Whatever.
holes. I don't like plot holes, man. Plot holes
Dude,
are always
I love
gonna
a good
tear a movie down for me.
I love a good hole.
Oh yeah, he's
John, we gotta speed these up.
Okay,
little
okay.
bit.
Spider-Man: Homecoming. It was okay for me.
great.
I liked it quite a bit.
I'm a fan of Spider-Man, so
Yeah.
Fucking.
I feel like
what's
all
the-
of these movies come down to a bias
The
of
movie was
liking
made for
the main
teenagers,
character.
in my opinion.
Right, 100%.
I don't have anything bad to say about it,
That's right,
but
man.
it's not.
I
it's
think
not on any of
every
these
film is
other-
defined by their villain. Every film is defined by their villain, and like that's where like the original Spider-Man, fucking Infinity War, Endgame, fucking like it. For me, Black Panther, Killmonger makes it. If you don't have a good villain, it doesn't work. Homecoming has a good villain.
great villain. The scene where he drops him off of the dance and he keeps Peter in there and he's like, "I will kill you."
He goes,
He just straight up tells him, he's like, "I will kill you."
Okay, so we want to put it in amazing or good? It can't be.
I would say good.
Good.
He can't.
Yeah. It's,
let's be straight, guys. Okay,
It was a good
we're all
film.
honest.
It is
I don't hate it,
impossible
but
for that.
there was a lot of teenage lovey-dovey bullcrap that.
That's what throws me
Well,
off.
What,
Spider-Man
you're
is
not
a whole lot of- it reminds me
teenagers
of-
or some shit?
Spider-Man is a young man, dude. Like,
I'm saying.
Sorry
what do you
for
want?
that.
And they
I'm
capitalized.
so sorry,
They made
Rashad.
money, but they capitalized on making a film for teenagers. And if you like it, you might want
We're gonna get to
think
that
how
in a
mature
minute.
you might really be.
Young adult fantasy is my favorite.
I think it's very subjective opinion you have.
Dude, look, man, I just,
So look,
my search history is weird.
I think
For me,
so when it
Never
came out,
mind.
I was a junior in high school, so it like fit perfectly.
that's fair. For
So,
me,
like-
I was shit.
Yeah, he was just a boy.
Yeah, that's fair. For
Yeah,
me,
you're
it was
already like 46.
the first transition to the new age of what we're gonna call post-COVID now, but it was more of the censorship regime over the movie industry. To me, that was the first signs in that movie, from what I noticed. And again, it could just be based off of it being made for teenagers, but it was the first time that we really got to see the MCU make more, what's the word I'm looking for? Suggestions about how you should live life compared to focusing on the movie.
But man, Zendaya could get it 3 times, and I'd still fucking let her peg me.
I mean,
Always gotta eat, bro.
Damn straight I do.
Okay, so are we okay with a good category here?
I would say good. Yeah, I guess.
All right, Thor Ragnarok,
Amazing.
Amazing.
The best.
the best.
The best.
Ragnarok.
The
Yes.
best.
My
Ragnarok
God.
is
The
fucking
best.
amazing.
Fucking
I don't-
phenomenal.
Ragnarok.
I don't
Literally
see how-
every other Thor film could just cease to exist.
Dude, yeah.
Seeing Stan Lee walk out with that wonky ass set of hair clippers and make fucking Chris Hemsworth bitch out.
And it was one of the first times outside of Guardians of the Galaxy that they actually used Jack Kirby, who was a Marvel Comics artist, to influence the theatrics and cinematic viewship of the movie.
The Sparkle Fingers.
Yeah, dude, it was so funny. The whole thing. I love this movie. I don't think it gets better than that. It would,
Oh, good.
if not the greatest, top 2 or top 3 MC movies of all time.
That's-
If you have
that's
not
in my
seen
top
Thor
3.
Ragnarok, then you don't know. You haven't really seen the greatest.
Can we get to
Thor
see
Ragnarok
like
is the greatest.
Battleworld Hulk for the first time,
Yeah.
and then also the fucking director for that film also happens to be the actor for fucking the Clone Troopers and Jango Fett in fucking Star Wars. I'm like,
Yeah, you're right.
just fucking stroking my meat, dude.
It's so good, dude.
Oh,
They introduced
Mr.
Valkyrie.
White
What
PT,
race is
I
this?
want to suck on your pee.
This is 18.
18.
I
I
need
bet
y'all
you
to
knew.
kind of take up over some of the conversation pieces, Phil.
No, you got it.
Man, you got it all figured out. What are you gonna do? Lose or
All
something? Welcome to the club, shithead.
Next movie, Black Panther.
Good.
I think
It's a good
Nigel.
movie.
Long time, dude.
Hey, well, you're a fucking
Of course.
joke.
I don't want to hear your shit.
You
I
just like Wakanda, bro.
I hate black people, and I'm also
Killmonger
gonna
is
say it was
one of my
amazing.
favorite characters in all of the MCU. I firmly believe that Black Panther is one of the biggest political jokes of a fucking film because it's an already such an established fucking company for Marvel, and seeing a dog shit green screen like I'm watching PBS at the end of the fucking film when Killmonger's dying and
Chicken.
Black Panther's sitting there just like, hey dude, I got you, man. And you're just like, dude, they fucking spent like $250 million on producing this film, and that's what I get. The final fight between him and Black Panther, you have no idea how mad I am at how much wasted potential there
I
is in
think I have
that
a
film.
pretty good sense.
Kendrick Lamar's album and
The
Michael
soundtrack
B.
for that
Jordan.
movie is
Dude,
undeniable.
fucking
dude. Soundtrack
SZA
is
and Kendrick
fucking
Lamar.
fantastic.
Fucking crazy.
The soundtrack for that fucking movie is great.
Want me to come on date? Oh my god.
I think the thing that killed it for me is like how much it was pushed because it was like a black-led film.
Right, yeah.
Like, I
it goes
enjoyed
back
the
to
film.
It goes back to the earlier point that Sean made,
I saw
though.
Kamala Harris cross over her
with-
fucking chest with her arms. I'm like, dude, you're fucking more white than you are
It goes
black.
back to the earlier point that Sean made about like movies and the politics and the state of Western civilization, if you will, kind of playing to, telling you how to live your life. Whereas verbatim, and that's what they're doing, right? It's like if you look at movies across the board, not even just in the MCU, but across several different genres, that's what they were doing. And if you're, being a diehard MCU fan, that's not something you want to see.
No more
Like,
Deadpool.
fucking play it to the thing.
Deadpool gone.
Like,
Black
I still think
Panther
it's a
was
great movie.
mentioned, and he had his
yeah,
proposal.
it's It's a
movies.
great
He
movie.
definitely has a position, and the movie was really good.
Like
Yeah.
Michael B.
Besides all the
Jordan.
political shit, I think it's
Right,
still
yeah.
a great movie.
Find a way
Michael
to
B.
do
Jordan
it
in it
without
is
entering into
fantastic.
politics.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
And then Chadwick Boseman, great actor. Like,
Chadwick Boseman's been a great actor for a long time.
Hello,
for sure.
Rip Bozo could be better than cancer. Anyways, good.
You're going to hell in a handbasket, sir.
what's above good?
I was going there already.
I put it amazing. I think it was really great, especially for an
Yeah.
origin film, and it brought a whole era that made Infinity War so good, and it would not have been possible without Black Panther.
Also, can we mention?
I do agree that they did try and push it a little bit, but it wasn't too much, like they did in some films to come.
Yeah.
I thought it was an amazing film, and honestly, Chadwick Boseman would have been probably the leader of Avengers if he had not actually passed away from life, which was fucking tragic.
Great actor.
He was definitely another Captain America. Like he is the
the acting in that film, and to bring like a specific culture that, again, in my opinion, it didn't feel at the time like they were trying to push some fucking shit down our throat. There was a little bit that I could see looking back at it, and if you're watching this, in 2025, yeah, you'd be like, okay, you can see that.
It's 2025 right now, so.
But if you're watching at the time of the release of the film, it was not like that. It was invoking a different culture that they brought into a completely different cinematic universe that allowed it to flow appropriately. The villain was great. You had already spoken on Killmonger. We don't have to touch on that anymore. The concept of the film was amazing. It was essentially a superhero. It was essentially another Captain America movie, just like you stated. I'm going to put it in amazing. If y'all want to disagree, bring it down or up, let me know. But that's it right now.
I think that the production level of the film, I think it fails itself. I think the writing and story building is perfect. But just seeing, like, it looks like fucking like high school level green screen with that amount of money behind it pisses me off every fucking. It was in the theater, man. Seeing these fucking rubberized fucking 2006 CG models getting a fist fight in that fucking train wreck. And nobody acknowledges it. And it makes me so mad.
That's fair.
Well, we're not filming in the Western civilization.
Well, we're also running out of categories, and we got a lot of bad movies coming, so.
All right, go. We're fucking running.
Avengers Endgame.
Amazing.
Top tier.
Okay, yeah.
Greatest of all time.
Tier.
Top tier, greatest of all time.
For real.
I think
Ragnarok, Doctor Strange, and Infinity War for me are probably the top 3 MCU movies ever made.
I'm biased with Doctor Strange the same way I'm biased with Captain America. I hate Captain America. I love Doctor Strange. But I will agree.
Okay.
Okay, so we're all agreeing there's no complaints about putting it in the top tier.
It's top tier. There's a reason that everything after fell off, because it was such an amazing movie. It's very hard to live up to that expectation.
Wasn't there supposed to be release order? What happened to Infinity War?
I know,
That is
that's
Infinity
what
War.
I was thinking too.
That is
You just
Infinity
said
You said Endgame.
You said
You said
Endgame.
Endgame.
Oh, my bad.
That's the
Infinity
second
War.
time you fucked up.
I'm fucking up. Sorry. Infinity War. This is.
I think
You
Infinity
put
War
your
is
shit
better than
together.
Endgame.
I agree. I already stated
I
that.
think
It
Infinity
doesn't
War is
matter.
better
They're
than
still,
Endgame.
they're still in the same category.
They still
know.
are. Yes.
Then
we
we got
got
top tier.
we got 6 in,
Well,
in
sue me.
the greatest
They're
right
right.
now, so we might actually not put Endgame in amazing, not in the greatest. But right now, Infinity War. Yes. Sorry.
Yes.
For my
Infinity War
mistakes.
is top 3 for me.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Cried. I cry every time. Ant-Man and Wasp, no.
Okay.
Bad.
It was not great. It was okay.
I don't remember it.
Bad.
I honestly don't remember it.
Nobody does.
If you don't
I don't
remember it, that
remember
probably
it.
kind of defeats. So we're gonna put it in the not good category. Again,
Who's the villain?
the
Tell
comedic
me right now.
the comedic relief.
I love that that's your metric. That's good.
The comedic relief was great. Paul Rudd does an amazing job, and I don't want to take anything away from him. But again,
You
goes
can
to the
only
same
do so
kind of
much as one
concept
person.
that the main writer to Ant-Man, who they had developing these films, was fired because he did not agree with the route that parliament
Also, that
of the
came out
MC
before
universe.
Infinity War. Or no, Infinity War and Endgame.
I don't think so.
Well, the chronology is between Infinity War and Endgame, but I'm pretty sure it came out before.
I'm going based off release date from a specific website that it could be wrong or I could be wrong.
All right, dude. Well,
Is it
I
co-
thought
Just look,
his
okay.
stock
Is it
out probably not very
cosmopolitan?
credible.
I got pee though.
Nah,
like
I
that.
use the men's health one.
That's the difficult thing with like the Ant-Man films.
Women's
Like
sports.
Paul Rudd saves a lot of those
Yeah.
films. Like just
Mhm.
simply his
He does.
acting style and
Yeah.
just who he is. Like
Which I don't want to take credit away from him either.
yeah.
But
Not
at
at all.
the same time, it kind of speaks on how the films are. Because without him, all his movies, I feel, would be kind of dead.
Yeah.
I personally think Jimmy Kimmel really brought Band of Brothers.
That is the most
All
ridiculous.
right, moving
shit I've
on.
ever heard in my life.
We're putting that in not good. Is that okay with everyone?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. It wasn't horrible. It just wasn't.
Yeah, dog shit. And nobody remembers it. Nobody knows it. It's garbage. Go. Run it. Tell me a plot point.
Captain Marvel.
I think that's actually a pretty okay film.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
The politics and publicity around it initially were it made
That's
it
what
seem
you're
like it was
getting,
worse.
100%.
Yeah.
Teaching you the backstory of Nick Fury.
Yeah.
That's
And-
that's
Yeah.
why I put it
I
in
mean-
an okay category. Without the Nick Fury
Yeah.
side of it, it would be not a good movie. But
Him losing his eye because of a cat is kind of gay, but
That fucking octopus cat is
Yeah, that's
fucking
and again, I do like having a little bit more backstory of oh my god, what are her people called?
The Scrolls.
Not the scrolls. The people in the
the
blue suits.
wannabe fucking Superman Kryptonians.
Yeah, basically the Superman of the MCU. Can't remember their names. That's the fucking
Sentry?
What?
I said Sentry. That's gonna be in Thunderbolts. Sentry is the Marvel's Superman.
Anyways, it doesn't
The
matter. that
Blue
much.
Bloods.
I
The Blue Bloods.
think it's an okay film.
Oh, no!
Nice.
I think a lot of people shit
Ah,
on
I
it
just
because
let
it
you
was
pass.
a
I gotta pee.
woman-led main character film. A lot of people did shit on it, for sure. I didn't think it was that bad, honestly.
She's hot. I mean, not fine, but I mean, she's attractive. You know, what are gonna get? That's the
don't know,
social.
I think we gotta start speed running.
That's the social
sick.
take on a political movie.
Anyways, I think it's okay.
All right, so it was okay, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Way too much
Just-
time spent on an okay movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
In game.
Amazing.
The greatest. It's the greatest. I love crying in movies. That's a movie that makes me cry.
When he
Cry
first
makes
said
me happy.
Avengers Assemble, like the one time he says it is when they're going ready to fucking fight Thanos and his entire army after they bring everyone back.
On your
It's so
left.
good. And then they play like a different version of the Avengers theme song, like with orchestra. It's so fucking good. Gives me goosebumps.
Dude, I mean, like you have different. They definitely do a lot of like fan feeding because it's just like, oh, all the girls, and we're gonna show how the Valkyrie goes and shit up. Oh, the fucking it's just all kinds of shit and just like good humor, good characters. I thought that the fucking the smart Hulk was kind of weird, but I
Not necessarily though.
That's my one gripe. Just
he's like,
because
here's your tacos, shitter.
in Infinity War, right? He kept trying to pull the Hulk out, right? And he just was refused from since Ragnarok. And like it was the build up that everyone was like, oh, okay, when the Hulk comes back, like it's gonna be super cool, like he's gonna go crazy.
I'm
And they do it off screen. Like,
Because it was a deleted scene apparently where there was something they were trying to fiddle with, where he like showed up at the end, but he still wasn't strong enough. They decided not to do it, and that was super gay. I feel like it turned out better in Infinity War.
I think I already said my piece on Endgame.
You faggot fuck! I was gonna do that to you.
Lower than
You
the
got
greatest tier.
No, it's still greatest.
I put it in amazing.
Nope, still greatest. Still greatest. It's just not just your tier. This is absolutely the greatest.
We're getting everybody's opinion. I'm just putting my opinion on there.
I'm fine with either greatest or the amazing, honestly.
There is not 7 other movies that are just as good as Endgame. Sorry.
Well, so far we have the original Avengers, Winter Soldier,
Endgame is better than the original.
Doctor Strange,
Infinity War.
Ragnarok,
Infinity War is better.
Infinity War.
Infinity War is. I'm saying the original is not better than Endgame.
Endgame is now being put as the number 7 of the greatest, which there's only one other one for me, and I think they both take the slot because they're two different seasons, but we'll get into that. So that's why I'm basically putting my stance on it being amazing because of how we've already ranked these other ones. But we can put it in the greatest, but there's going to be
Endgame is not the greatest.
There's going to be some debating.
It's the greatest. It's men and eyes. Dude, fucking, you just seeing the re-engagement between fucking Tony Stark and fucking Spider-Man, dude. I cried 10 out of 10 times.
Sean, we gotta really speed run this. I think we're going into like 20 or 21.
Far From Home. Okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal's great, but it's good at best.
Yeah.
Sorry, Spider-Man fans, but it just, you know,
it's
another teenage movie. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the film, nothing great about the film. This was also during the time where Fox and Disney were kind of starting to separate, and the whole contractual obligations were starting to take place. And unfortunately, it was just slapped in the middle. Nothing great to the saga.
What's the fourth category?
Not good, horrible, waste of time. After this.
What's the fourth category?
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay.
I would say it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, as a whole, it didn't contribute much to the MCU progression. Like,
I would even put it at not good personally, but you know, if that's what y'all want to put it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean,
6,
we're gonna adjust that then.
Yep.
Anyway.
Black Widow.
Not good.
Never seen it, so can't say.
I thought it was good. I really have a huge complaint that they literally stated in an interview that it didn't come out where it should have come out in terms of an origin movie in the first and second phases, simply because they didn't think at the time they could sell enough female action figures and merchandise because it was a female.
Wild.
Right. So to me, it was just completely miscategorized in terms of timing. And I think it could have done really well if it was in the first couple phases. I don't dislike the movie. The villain was a little, like, you know, off. But...
God, that was racist.
I really liked the film. I think they did a great job. But for me, it was more of like a transition film other than an origin film in which it was supposed to be. So I'm going to put it as not good simply because they're basically using that as to get rid of Scarlett Johansson, who is my single most, utmost, best celebrity crush. So.
I think
seen her in that's the best part. That's the best part about Iron Man 2 is when she makes Happy look like he's bitch made because she fucking jumps down that hallway and she fucking just does that take down on that fucking bodyguard and he goes like, oh shit, just absolutely hornswoggles all those dudes.
Like I said, the movie was good. Timing takes a lot from this for me.
Like you said, it was pretty late in the MCU for them to introduce a new character and an origin story, and it just didn't land.
That's why she filed a lawsuit.
I mean, it was entertaining to watch, right?
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah,
but MCU-wise, it was just like, why is this coming out now? Other than to just sell tickets, I guess. You've already given us enough information, and you didn't withhold enough back, or give us enough in terms of the Red Room and whatnot, Like, if they would have dove deep
Background.
into her whole fucking background a little bit more than they did and not been still a little bit mysterious, if they would have came up with a full plot on that, I would rank this a lot higher. Even though that they didn't come out in the right timing frame.
We
No,
need to stop spending so much time on mid movies.
Dude, fuck him. L. Fuck it. She sucks.
All right. Not,
Right.
So we're
Not
putting
a
it
good
as a
movie.
not good.
Not good. Yeah.
All
Not
right.
good. I didn't even watch
Eternals.
it.
Not good.
Not good. It's
Not good.
Fucking good, dude.
You're a fucking joke.
Okay.
All of media disagrees. Go check out Rotten Tomatoes. You're a fucking goober for saying that.
Well, this is
Rotten
where you can
Tomatoes.
tell that these guys
I
are
don't,
getting.
thing
I don't
you could
gauge
say.
my likeness of a movie on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
based off of other reviews.
Who's the movie?
Okay, I'm putting Eternals as amazing. You
Really?
guys
You're
are
fucking-
clearly.
you're retarded,
Easton, shut up for a second. You are clearly getting your opinion from CNN or Fox News because you actually haven't watched this fucking film, dude. This is one of the first films in like 4 years that they tried something new. Sure, it didn't land per se in terms of the overall MCU.
The blend was done well, dude.
But dude, this was an origin film for 10 different characters. It meshed in what was a gap in what the true fans wanted to see, which was the Eternals and the fucking Celestials and how that fit into the overarching of the creation of the universe. Because that had already been placed through the prior to. There was nothing wrong with the cinematic side of it. There was no piece of it being a love story or not. Sure, there was a lot going on, and maybe it should have been a 2-part movie for the plebs that didn't know what the fuck was going on and actually were true fans. But for a fan of the MCU, it was an amazing movie. Now, if y'all want to fight me on that, I'm not the only person, but I'm not basing my opinion off of what Rotten Tomatoes goes off of or what everybody said based off of like, oh, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah, because you don't know what the fuck's going on in the MCU. From a Marvel Cinematic Universe, it was great.
Tell me more about the characters. Tell me more about them. Tell me how their characters go.
The characters aren't matter. All the characters were one character.
You just said, oh, it's 10 people you're getting introduced to all at once. We don't know any shit about them.
Yeah, and they didn't spend the time on that. So you know what
the most important part
we're starting to yell. Let's chill a little bit.
fucking characters.
Version of it, like to see like a follow-up to Eternals would be great because I understand that gripe, but at the same point that Shonda said, like it really was like the blend and the mesh of what it was and being able to put them all into one and how they came in the MCU is fucking great. Like that is undeniable.
It wasn't about the characters, and that's what a lot of MCU fans I think had issues with, is because like holy shit, like I didn't get to fall in love with any characters. Well, that just speaks to your gayness. I'm sorry. Like you don't need to fall in love with a character.
Okay, what is the point of watching any form of media if you're not interested in the plot line or the
it's not about the
character?
plot line. The plot line.
If you're losing half of it, do you know the reason why the Avengers was important? It's because it developed characters into a plot line.
Maybe for you, I strongly disagree.
Characters you knew of. You're a joke. I don't even fucking understand that. Nobody fucking loved the Eternals, and there's a reason why.
I did.
I understand if you're a comic book guy and it's something that was appealing to you, but it doesn't make sense to sit there and circle jerk.
Can I pose a question to give this a little bit more insight? I think that may be possibly relevant. Look at X-Men, which are now becoming a part of the Marvel universe, right? You look at the X-Men, and if you're familiar with them, if you're not, there are proponents that are a part of the X-Men that play small or relatively significant roles for a piece of time, and then they move on. Comparatively to the Eternals, if you look at the way that it meshed into the MCU and the way that it was kind of rolled out, especially needing something fresh, coming after Infinity War and fucking Endgame, like you needed that kind of thing, and they did it fucking well. Like it just makes sense.
So for the general audience, like me going into it, I did know the Eternals. I don't know who they were, or like
I've never seen it. person.
Exactly. So for me, like just looking in as a new viewer, it just seemed like a cash grab, bringing in these high-name celebrities, like these A-list celebrities.
The Celestials created the comic books. It was a movie for the true fans and giving finally a little bit more insight.
You're a comic book guy.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
fucking. You're,
Yeah,
you're
hey, look,
You're a comic book guy.
Let's go
Yeah,
back
let
to
me-
Brandon's opinion.
Instead of you
imagine-
getting mad, let's just like let people speak.
So
you didn't let me.
the other however many percentage of people that don't know who the Eternals were, for me, it just felt like they brought in like Harry Styles, Angelina Jolie. They brought in all these A-list celebrities, and even like MCU wise, it didn't really progress anything but explain how the Celestial ended up on Earth, the frozen Celestial. So that's to me why I don't rank it very high.
Have you watched it outside of the one time?
He hasn't.
Yeah, I watched the one time and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna watch this
The
again.
only reason I pose that question is because if you go in with that initial bias, I could see why it might be a little bit off-putting. I'm a little bit put off by movies that got a fuckload of celebrities and big names, right? But like, if you go back and actually like watch the film, like it's really, really well done. We've had conversations earlier in the stream about films that stand alone are just actually pretty fucking good. In my opinion, Eternals is one of those movies. I'm not saying it's like an amazing or anything. But
Can we go on?
good.
We have like
Where
20
we putting
movies
this?
to go
Where we putting
in
this?
one race.
Well, we're obviously putting together 6 races.
I'm not saying it's a bad film. Like, I think that is the best portrayal of a speedster that any movies have done so
I see
far.
what you're saying, and I
For
obviously
sure.
agree that there should be a lot more. Why I'm not going to put it as like the greatest or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
But it was
what
at least a
I
good
mean,
film, and I
was
appreciate
really
them
good.
trying to finally give a backstory to Celestial, which was again the same point to why I made why Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 essentially Atrocity was
Okay. I don't think it's a bad film. I just don't think it's the greatest. You know.
yeah. So okay or good would be something I'm willing to settle on. Y'all are saying horrible, complete dog shit.
No. I'm not saying that. If I did not mean that
Houston is the
opinion at
only
all.
one saying it's a bad film. I have no opinion because I haven't seen it.
But you're getting your opinion from seeing it, right? Cartoons?
the equivalent of. So. Easton has gone dark on us. Apparently.
That's fine.
He's seething right now. I'm looking at him. He's fucking coping real hard.
Yeah.
You should go punch Crystal as hard as you can.
Please do not do that.
All right, next movie.
All right, move on.
Alright, so we putting this good or okay?
I'm good with good.
No, I'm definitely okay. I mean, if the highest we're gonna go is good. I think good.
I mean, I can. If y'all want to do amazing, I wouldn't be opposed. Like, it just wasn't meant for me, you know. Like you said, Sean, it was a movie for the hardcore fans, and I didn't know anything about Eternals. Hey, shut the fuck up.
We'll put it at good. Alright, Shang-Chi.
Didn't
I
like
have
it.
not seen it yet. I'm
I didn't
actually
like it.
watching it tonight. I'm watching it tonight. I'm actually pretty pumped about watching it.
So
This is an origin film again.
Shang-Chi kind of hit that like anime trope for me
Yeah, I can see that.
in a realistic like.
Another
That's
another
enough to
film
tickle
that-
the balls of fancy.
why I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Eternals,
so-
they tried something new because
Yep.
again, comparing this to a few films prior to that, Black Widow, Ant-Man 2, fucking, they're starting to go downhill a little bit. They kind of brought it back. Bring some origin film, bring in some new characters. Shang-Chi, I thought, was pretty fucking good.
I thought it was honestly pretty solid, but I will state on every speaking point that I have that I'm pretty biased, and that's where I rate my stuff. I'm not a moviegoer. I'm not rating movies based off of like necessarily because it follows a plot line or whatever.
Yeah, it's personal
entertaining for
opinion.
me. It's entertaining for me.
I got a shotgun. I didn't finish this beer, so
I also got a shotgun. I got
a shotgun as well.
I thought it was. Yep. I thought it was race 23, and it was 24. So.
So Shang-Chi, I think it's really cool how they actually introduced like the 10 rings.
Say again?
Sorry.
Add 2 beers, do another 6 races, finish what you got. You should be able to finish.
Sure, I'm down.
Or 8. Add 2 beers, 8 races.
Wait.
You got one. Brandon got one. Rashad, you finished yours?
Mine's almost full.
All my beers done.
3 beers.
But wait though, because if we're making contingencies,
Yeah, well, if we're adding more
the
races,
fact that you guys
I
have
finished
forgotten,
my 8. I'm gonna call it there.
contingencies have not been made for mine.
Call it there, bro. You got a lot to say.
I'm gonna call it there because from the immediate start of even us fucking turning on our cameras, you fucking were immediately like showing some sort of like negative connotation towards me.
Houston, you're the only one who feels that way. It's an insecurity on your part, and I will say that straight away.
I
Go to
appreciate it.
sleep because you're drunk, and that's it.
I wasn't drunk from the beginning. I appreciate it, guys. You guys have a good night.
all right, good night, buddy.
Buenas noches, señor.
I think the fact
hope
that
he's
you
still
shit on
there.
Captain America so much really pissed him off. All right.
Me?
That's fine. I don't like Captain
I didn't shit on
America.
Captain America.
No,
No,
Jeff did.
I did.
I did
A
too,
lot.
because Captain America fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think
That's
Captain-
white, huh?
I don't. No, not at all.
It goes back to that cinematic like area
I've been a
where
Batman
you can
movie,
only
man.
make Captain America so cinematic because he's still kind of human. He's not really a superhero, but he kind of is, but he's not on that level.
Yeah, but he's.
I mean,
the
if we
Avenger.
talk about political talks
he's
and all
the
these other
guy.
things, in terms of like
I don't
creating
agree he
MCU
should
narrative,
be the guy. He's just the most American, and that's why a lot of people like
That really
him.
puts damper into the scene selection here.
All right, just keep her going.
Wait, tell him to come back. We got to do it for the scene.
So, like, I think Shang-Chi was really cool because it introduced like the actual 10 rings and like it introduced like the Chinese mythology into it. I couldn't get into it. It just wasn't for me, you know.
Fair. For
Was
me,
it
I
what
put it
what
kinda,
was
like,
it in
right
particular
under
about
Eternals.
Shang-Chi that was it just that in terms of like your knowledge of the MCU, or what, like cinematically as a movie, as a standalone movie, did you like,
I think
what was it in particular? Because I'm about to watch it tonight, so the reason I'm asking.
so. I think
Not
like
bad, like I'm not gonna take that opinion, but I'm curious.
I think by the time I watched
John,
this
take mine
film-
out. I don't have time for another one.
Bro, you can't do this to us, man.
I sure can. I already told you that I didn't want a shotgun because I had to wake up early. Now you're extending the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I
I
was
think
the only one that was trying to accelerate the rankings to begin with.
that's a good point.
Alright, well,
Yeah, I mean that's why I want to extend the age to 24. So shoot, no.
I got another one I'll
Need more
drink. If
time.
you want to just keep talking and go through and you can just play.
I mean, I would love to talk about this, but also,
well, we gotta finish the fucking video for the sake of finishing the video.
all right.
Yeah.
All right, let's just speedrun it right now without playing.
Alright. Well, let me go back to the scene, I guess.
But Shang-Chi, I feel like it was pretty late in the MCU to introduce a new character. And for me, it just didn't land, right? Because like I was already invested in all these other characters and the story and how it goes. And then Shang-Chi doesn't really tie in as much as I would wanted it to. If that makes sense.
I mean,
That
I
makes-
guess, but at the same time, like, God, sorry, I had a train of thought and it completely lost.
What do we got
Like
after
calling it?
Shang-Chi?
Where are we putting this, though? Shang-Chi...
I think it's okay.
I think
don't-
it's okay.
I don't think it's bad.
Okay or good? I mean,
Yeah,
I like,
okay,
I
good.
like how
I
they
would
tried
rate
to
it
shit.
good.
It didn't
I would
have
say good.
anything that went against the MCU's plot. It was kind of a standalone movie. They introduced a lot of shit. The choreography was great. Overall, aesthetically pleasing. Kind of
Yeah,
weird
I
at
mean-
the end, but I mean, between good and okay was. I mean, I would put it at good, but
I'm
if
cool
you
with
wanna
that.
put it at okay, that's fine too.
I'm cool with good. That's cool with me.
Okay.
I think it only explained the 10 rings, and that was about it. All it did for the
Right.
MCU,
Which
you know.
it kind of set it up. in my opinion, to have that explained later on in the future Avengers movie.
Yeah. Hopefully in
Again,
Secret Wars.
that kind of got dabbled a little bit against because of the issue with what's his name, Jonathan something, who played King.
Oh, yeah. He got was he diddled someone or beat the shit out of someone? It was a woman. He
Some
punched a
domestic
woman.
charges. I don't know the full details.
What do we have post?
What's next?
Doctor Strange Multiverse.
I liked it. I think it's good.
I like it, and we mentioned. I mean, in terms of like favorite MCU characters, obviously Sean, myself, and Jeff mentioned that. It does not stack up to the first. I'm thinking of some of the other rankings. I would put Multiverse on par with like Iron Man 3, personally.
I liked it because. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It helped. I mean, to me, it helped, but it was like, it just wasn't. I also had like really, really big inflated, fanfare, if you will, for the movie. I saw it in theaters. I saw both of them in theaters.
Yeah, I saw it.
Cinematically, it was fucking fantastic. Like, it was great. Like,
Yeah,
so much to like hit you right in the fucking face watching that movie. Like,
I think the thing for me, it was like at the point it came out, Disney had already owned Marvel, and there was super like PG, like sometimes PG-13, and like Sam Raimi came in, who's a horror film director mostly, and it was just so different than anything we'd seen so far, and that's why I enjoyed it so much.
I can agree cinematically. I mean, I think that's what I took from it visually, but
like it kind of mimicked a horror film in some aspects. It was definitely more creepy than like the previous films we've seen coming out of Marvel.
I thought it was good.
I didn't see it that way. I got to go back and I would look at it from that perspective.
For me, it could have been one of the greats. It could have been really one of the greats, but according to Elizabeth Olsen and a few other actors on that movie, including Feige, that the fucking Marvel Studio Parliament had 33 rewrites, the most in any MCU movie history on this movie. And Elizabeth Olsen was stated in an interview that she stopped reading some of the drafts and ended up admitting to doing certain voiceovers, knowing that they were going to do CGI outworks to work it all out of it. Like, it could have been one of the great movies, but again, we have to keep in mind this was during the whole COVID fiasco bullshit. To me, the plot was just not drilled in properly. Aesthetically pleasing, of course, but being Doctor Strange, being one of my favorite movies, and especially my favorite origin movie, I really think they dropped the ball on this, and I'd put it in a not good category, honestly, overall, based off of my standpoint on how I'm categorizing this in my head. But again, this is SoberKart categorizing this, not just me.
Right. I wouldn't go as far as to put it as not good. Like, I mean, cinematically, I can understand. I mean, I guess I'm kind of torn. But
if you watch it with the lens of this is a horror film director mostly, then
I do want to watch it that way. Now that you said that, because I actually haven't. That's not where my head was. So that is an interesting take.
They did a good job at that, I think.
But I think cinematically, like I said, it was appealing. Like Sean just said, aesthetically.
For me.
I mean, also like really introduced like the whole multiverse thing a whole lot more than like
I forgot
the Spider-Man film
did. I had
did.
these movies categorized separately. This actually shouldn't even been talked about before Loki, but let's go ahead and finish categorizing this, and then we'll talk about Loki.
Yeah,
I think it's good. If you want to put it lower, I can accept that as well. I know a lot. It's not very well liked.
I'm okay. That one.
Yeah, I'm on the okay category. Jeff, where you at?
Honestly, I was doing something else. So.
Multiverse of Madness, good, okay, or not good?
I thought it was okay. It did not do it for me. I absolutely love Doctor Strange, and it did not do it for me.
Just for the fact that we already have 7 in the good category, I'm gonna put it in the okay category, so we don't have to adjust shit later, so we can let Jeff go sooner than later. Loki season 1.
Amazing.
Absolutely fantastic.
I love
fucking
it.
fantastic. It's so good.
It's good. It's fucking good.
I don't know if I would put it at the best, but amazing.
It is at the best in my
fucking
opinion.
good.
It's so good.
There was nothing wrong with that, honestly. Loki season 1 and 2. Did you know throughout both seasons there was no additional photography needed? Literally, what they wrote down, they filmed. And that was it. There was no cutting. There was no MCP oversight. Mind you, they had already had Loki as a film prior to COVID, and they decided last minute to make it a TV series.
I didn't know that part,
Because of people weren't going to fucking films and shit. Like, it was going to be the next hit. And in my opinion, Loki, they checked all the boxes. They invented the new concept of the universe prior to the Multiverse of Madness, understanding that they were going to bring X-Men in and everything. They literally
that was another part.
pieced this whole extra section of Marvel and gave the audience a true understanding on how they were going to do it.
I think that was a major point. Yeah, that was a major point. Obviously, it was good by itself, but then there's the way that, like, I mean, I'm not nearly as much of a Marvel fan, but I'm definitely overly familiar than your standard person. But I even watched Loki season 1 and was able to see, like, the blend and kind of like the metaphorical hand of Torch into what it's gonna become.
So, Sean,
and they did it really well.
The only reason I say amazing and not the greatest is because you already set it to 8 of whatever. And I'm not looking at it based off of that. I'm looking at it based off of how it compares to the other movies or shows in that same category.
I am too, which is why I didn't put Endgame in that greatest category, because I would have put Loki season 2 in that category.
Endgame was agreed upon, except for you, that it was in the greatest category, right. So it should be.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying that I'm looking at it that same way.
Yeah.
But I can't put Loki. I can't put anything other than Loki. Loki would be in the top 4 things ever to come out with, and I'd put Loki season 2 as number 5. So
I absolutely love
Loki. Is 100% the best thing since Endgame they pushed out. Absolutely.
100%.
I think Loki was the only show that they actually did justice.
It's fantastic.
WandaVision was
actually
good too. Which WandaVision's actually next.
WandaVision had a very boring first 3 episodes.
You just gotta push through, man.
WandaVision as amazing. I hate the first 3 episodes. I hate the first 3 episodes, but overall, it was great.
The first episode literally has 0 plot building at all. It's just a fucking 50s sitcom.
If they didn't do what they did, again, WandaVision was also supposed to be a movie. But during COVID, they fucking changed it to a TV series, and I gave it a lot more filler space. And if that was just a movie, and they didn't have those fucking 3 episodes, the first 3 episodes be what they were, I feel like it would have been in the conversation of one of the greatest movies of all time. But unfortunately, we have to talk about it as a TV series, being 2 hours longer than what the movie would have been. And in your head, if you can cut out what should have probably been cut out, and then view it based off of that.
But you can't do that because it is what it is.
It is what it is. So I'm obviously not putting it at the greatest. I would put it at good, but we already have 7 movies in good, and
I would say amazing.
7 in okay.
Yeah, I would say
it's got to be an amazing.
Also,
like,
it shows.
I would say amazing.
It shows how strong the Scarlet Witch is, because in the comics, Scarlet Witch is OP, like crazy strong
as fuck.
Like, I think that was a good showcase of how strong her powers actually were, like compared to like Age of Ultron and Civil War and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely were not encapsulated in those at all.
Yeah.
All right, so then we got What If. I thought it was okay. I mean,
I liked it.
It was cartoon. I thought it was good, but it was, I don't know. We're running out of shit. Definitely can't put it in amazing, but I'd rather put it in okay based off of what we have categorized already. If you haven't seen it, just don't say anything. That's fine.
I think the fact that they tied it all together at the end of the first season,
I agree.
like they went through and grabbed each character from each what if scenario. I
Mhm.
liked it. I think it was good.
I
I
really
enjoyed
thought
it.
they did a great job with it. I just,
Yeah.
again, just for what it was, it's hard to place other things lower because of it not really being what the rest of them are. You know, if what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think it did very good at what it was intended to do, like to be.
So that would be the 8th at good. And then we got one of Shang-Chi, Falcon, Winter Soldier series. Oof. Got some shit to say about this. I'm gonna put it at horrible. Obviously we can move that based off of anybody that have seen it. Does anybody have any other opinion other than?
Yeah, I
me?
haven't seen
think
the
that's
Winter
okay.
Soldier series,
I think it's
so,
okay. Like,
Is it? Sorry, just got back.
The Falcon
Winter
Winter
Soldier
Soldier
series?
TV series.
Never seen it.
I think
No.
it was necessary to kind of like show the transition from like
Sure,
Steve Rogers
necessary for
to
sure.
like the Falcon becoming the new Captain America, but like U.S. Agent, how they kind of did him, I didn't really like a whole lot. It seemed kind of rushed.
It was more than
Um,
just rushed. In my opinion, this was the first atrocity in terms of liberalism within the fucking Hollywood film side of things. It was so apparent that they were trying to push Black Lives Matter specifically with this TV series.
But
And
it was just timing.
timing was bad, but like they brought in this whole extra plot that didn't exist anywhere in the MCU prior to it, with the whole other America super soldier, and made it really a race baiting film based off of whites versus blacks and how Captain America Steve Rogers was chosen because he was a white man. Like, you're literally disintegrating what had already established to be great films inside the MCU. And again, I love Falcon and I love Bucky. And I think they could have done so much better with this, but I feel like 40 plus, if not over half of the film, was trying to present itself as a Black Lives Matter film. And we could have a black guy. Yeah, we can have a black guy be the face of the film. And if they wouldn't have stuck on that, I don't think anybody would have fucking complained. Yeah, everybody loves the fucking Falcon, and he passed the shield to him after Endgame, and it could have been a smooth transition. But no, they really dived in and just like honed in on like, hey, like, finally we have a black president kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know. For me, it just seemed too, what's the word? Too raw, too disgusting to like, especially considering how bad they made the guy who took the shield after he put it in a museum, his character be. Overall, there was no villain, there was no antagonist really outside of the white man in this.
Yeah.
A bunch of socioeconomics, essentially.
Yeah.
I think it's just a product of timing and definitely Disney catering towards like the majority at the time. Like,
could you
it
name
was
me who
socially
the antagonist
accepted.
was? Because
It was a random fucking group of like terrorists. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was a random group of terrorists who were all white,
Yeah.
by the way. Like,
Yeah.
it was very weird, considering this was Captain America.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
and there was nothing great about it to offset that.
Mm.
There were some cool fighting scenes. I mean, I can't.
Yeah,
take
and
that
the
away,
choreography was great.
That was gonna be
overall,
my
it was
next
pretty
thing though
horrible.
too. Like in terms of like the movie as far as it went, like
It was
how
a
was
TV
it? I mean,
series, though, that's
the
the thing.
TV series. How
So it
was it
already dragged
cinematically?
out. Cinematically,
It was already just in.
there was like 3 good fight scenes over the course of like 6 episodes. Like, it was just like I would not have finished it if I wasn't a big MCU fan.
That's the same thing. Yep, I
My
agree.
thing that I want to
agree.
bring in a correlation with things like that though too is like like as viewers of shows of things like this, like we have to understand, like of course that like people know when there is a character replacement, right? Like we talked about Terrence Howard and the guy that ended up taking over for being Rhodes. And be in that space, like it's not something that goes unnoticed, right? And if you're in a position where like Captain America is this built upon, regardless of whatever the Captain America that we know, that we've seen visually, is a white guy or whatever the case may be. I don't give a damn what it is. It could have been
I don't either,
Indian
but don't make that
or
the fucking
right.
plot
But
of the
that's
film.
but the only reason
Mhm.
for them. The only reason for them to change that is to further a narrative. Is what I get at, right? And so it's like, for me personally, it's like, not only did you change what has already been something that is formulaically reminiscent for people in this space, but then you double down on those things. And I think that's a problem with not even just the MCU, that's a problem in many entertainment industries in
Yep.
America, but that's a different conversation for a different day.
Yep. So I'm gonna put it
Yeah.
at horrible. Honestly, I would put it at waste of time if it wasn't solely based off of the understanding of the transition of the Shield.
See, I'm gonna let that stand, but I disagree because it sets up like Thunderbolts. You know, the U.S. agent.
Yeah.
He was kind of fucking like.
I'm looking
just-
forward to watching that too, and that was
Yeah,
another thing I wanted to get
yeah.
at too. Like outside of the politics of it, I haven't seen it, so I'm trying to gauge like how
Sorry.
good it was.
That
This
would
isn't
literally
necessarily
be the only
chronological
reason.
release order, but I skipped some of the shows because I had them separated. But next
fine.
is Hawkeye. I thought this was
And I-
okay.
I didn't
I
even
think
finish
it was
it.
okay.
It didn't.
I
It
think
didn't grab me.
Didn't grab you.
I saw it. It's
James
like it's a
Barton
mid
gave a little bit
show.
more. Yeah,
It's
it
definitely
was.
a mid show.
I'd be okay with it being not good, but it was definitely better than Captain America or the Falcon and shit. I thought it was better than Ant-Man and Wasp and Black Widow, which we also categorized as not good, but it could be not good. I thought overall, cinematically, didn't push agendas for the scene of selection, but if we want to put it in not good, I'm completely okay with that as well. Again,
I
they
have
really
no
failed
opinion.
on most of the
Never
TV
seen
I,
series.
I didn't watch enough to form an opinion on it.
Okay.
I think it was decent.
Just for the
Go
sake
piss.
of structuring.
Go piss.
All right. Well, let's categorize this next one because I might have been the only one to see this outside of Easton. Next one is Moon Knight.
That was my fucking favorite.
Yeah, that was his favorite.
you character.
I thought it was amazing.
It was fucking fantastic.
I'd
It's-
be willing to put it in only good because I didn't get enough of him. I feel like they, again, being a TV series, they structured it a little bit more of a. They just prolonged it, and I would have liked to see his character a lot more. But I think the actor did great. Again, standalone fucking TV series. I would like to see more of it. I was. At the end of it, I wish there was more, which is why I'm going to put it in the amazing category.
The fact that he had no build up,
Yeah.
because most of the MCU characters have build up from like prior movies or TV shows or whatever. He came in on his own, had one season, and it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
It's
I thought it
so
was great.
good.
I wish there was more. It
was
at amazing,
fantastic.
if that's cool with you. I mean,
It's
I
so
think you and
I'm
I are
cool
the
with
only
that.
ones with opinions on this.
yeah, it's so good.
Are
Next,
you
I'm gonna
wired
go
or wireless, Sean?
wired.
He's wired, that's
I'm gonna
why he
go
ain't
pee
moved.
while you guys talk about Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever is the next title. I'm going to pee.
Didn't like
Never
it.
seen it.
Didn't like it. The villain was cool. I understand they had to change a lot of shit because Chadwick Boseman died.
I was about to say, so Wakanda Forever
Yeah.
was post Chadwick Boseman passing away.
It was definitely
I haven't
it was,
seen it, so I'm just.
you can definitely kind of tell that they had to like last minute change a bunch of shit because what's his sister's name, Shuri? Like she becomes the new Black Panther, right? Because Chadwick Boseman died. I think the villain is really cool. But it just seemed like they were trying to do too much. So like they brought in Ironheart, right, which is supposed to be the new Iron Man.
Right, yeah.
But literally, she comes in this movie, and you don't hear anything else about her at all. Like you haven't seen her at Hall since that movie came out, like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And also like her character, like she was some random, really smart, like college chick, right, at Yale, and she somehow already had an Iron Man suit built. Like it just seemed like, and I understand, right? Like Chadwick Boseman died, they had to change a bunch of shit last minute, probably, but I didn't think it was that great. It was okay.
I think they did considering what they had to work with, obviously with Chadwick Boseman issues.
Yeah.
As in ceasing to exist. they did a pretty good job with just completely rewriting a completely different script than what they had already planned. They brought in some characters that actually made more sense from the comic side of things, which were already filled in some plot holes that existed prior to. I think overall they did a really good job. And the acting was amazing. I'd even put it in the good category.
It did do it for me.
That would be the 9th and final one in the good category. I cannot put it in amazing, unfortunately, because that it doesn't really tie into the rest of the MCU beyond the beginning plot hole, the storytelling in the beginning that was done with it.
Yeah,
Rashad, you said you haven't seen it. Jeff, have you seen it?
Nope. I haven't seen any shows outside of WandaVision, and I know this is not a show.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen any shows outside of WandaVision and Loki, and then I have not seen the past 4 Marvel movies.
Like I said, I think it would have been one of those amazing and the greatest films. It's just it's really unfortunate with what happened, and they kind of scrapped together some shit, and you could kind of tell from the audience that. But again, acting, everything beyond it, aesthetics was great. I'd put it in good. He says okay. I don't really know what to do here in the sake of
you don't have a non-common denominator.
Even it out.
Adjusted anyway.
I'm going to put it in good, and knowing that I'm not going to push it higher if we need to. So
it just seemed like they were trying to fit in the next like
Echo. I'm going to put it at
I didn't watch
time. I saw 2 episodes.
Never saw it.
Nobody else saw it. No disagreements.
I heard.
No,
I was gonna watch it. I heard Daredevil, Charlie Cox shows up for like 90 seconds total combined, and I refused to watch it. So
it was just a complete waste of time. Like, you got all these other things you could be making shit about, and you fucking go off this one-off character.
I think that is. Do you think that's a tie into the new Daredevil series that was just released?
I think it was just a one-off. Let's maybe kind of fill some time in the movie.
Do some shit, man.
Yeah. It's the main. It's one of the villains from Hawkeye. Is what that follows.
Yeah, it was completely horrible. She-Hulk's next. I'm gonna go ahead and put this.
I wouldn't say waste of time
as well, but y'all talk about your points on it.
Y'all watch it?
Yeah.
Nope.
I saw part of it.
So I
didn't like what I.
Okay, I guess waste of time is probably the best because the only reason I watched it is because I really like Charlie Cox as Daredevil. And that was the only reason I watched it. And I fucking hate the ending. How they just like it was a build up all the way to this fight, right? Where She-Hulk versus Abomination, but she broke the 4th wall and like went and just rewritten.
Yeah, dude,
how the show was supposed to go.
Season, they were doing 4th wall breaking, and it was just so bad. And it seemed like they literally made a film or a series trolling the entire MCU. So you're gonna like. All right, I'm going to make this TV series shit-talking all the fans that appreciated anything that has been built within this fucking series so far. And the director of that film literally was on an interview stating something around the lines of was wanting to make a pro-sex woman for kids show.
That's what it was.
Like
because at one point, Bruce, Bruce Banner is talking to her.
I would fight anybody who would put this over a waste of time. I wish there was a cat. There was 2 things on this fucking entire list that I'd put less than waste of a time, and that would be one of them.
It was definitely pandering towards women and like their struggles.
It was, but that wasn't even the issue that I had with it. Because I mean, any superhero, whatever. But it was so fucking obvious that that's what they were trying to do. But it wasn't just about women; it was to little girls, and they were being pro your body. To like 13-year-olds. This was right before the trans act fucking shit took off.
Yeah, different conversation, different day.
Yeah, different.
Yeah,
for me,
talking about
it was
this
a
on live
complete waste of
stream.
time.
Next.
Miss Marvel, also waste of time. Same
I
category.
didn't watch it. I heard it was a kid's show. Didn't watch it.
Did anybody else watch it?
It pretty much is a kid show. I saw like parts of it.
We can put this in the perspective. Is there were 6 episodes to this. There were 2 different directors. Director 1 did episodes 1, 2, and 6. The director 2 did 3, 4, and 5. And
Why wouldn't they
they
do, like-
clearly did not communicate on what their fucking plans were because it was very, very clear that there was some shit missing. And that's not even getting into the issues that we just talked about with She-Hulk.
I think Miss Marvel's a cool character.
Yeah.
And she really is cool, right? Like, but
Yeah, it
I heard
wasn't made for
not
the older
very-
fans. It was made
Yeah,
for
If I
junior
it was very
if I can
kiddified.
fly though, I don't want to glow while I'm flying. I need a little bit more else.
I don't want to take away from your guys' opinion on all of this, but if we're not going to speed this up, then I have to go.
Okay.
what do we got left?
You got just
A lot.
few.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Who's
15.
that?
Jeff, do you have
16?
anything to add? Do you see any of these titles that you'd want to talk to? We're going to do Love and Thunder, and then
I can't.
while you're looking at it, see what other titles you'd like to look at.
Love and Thunder was a joke, honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was not good.
I agree.
I didn't watch it because I knew it was gonna be a joke. So.
I agree.
I
But-
really love Christian Bale as the God
So do I.
Butcher. But
They-
beyond that, they literally fucking butchered this entire movie is what they
As
did.
DC,
and the
so.
director of Christian Bale, yeah. Christian Bale was the
Or-
fucking
Yeah.
villain in this movie, though, and I think
I
he did
know,
a
but
great
I'm just
job.
saying
But
that's why it
they use
doesn't
this
make
like
sense in
deep,
MCU, 'cause
fucking
he's supposed
dark
to be DC.
character who's just like so
Yeah.
into his character, and paired it with a mockery of the Thor character who has been in the MCU since the fucking very beginning. And the director of this film was in an interview stating that they hated Thor as a character from the Marvel Comics and thought he was a joke from the beginning. Why would you have a director film or do this fucking film? I really think that was where it broke down. Aesthetically, cool. They had some funny jokes. I laughed at the goats, but beyond that, like, it was an atrocity.
Or the God Butcher is literally a God Slayer, and a bunch of kids with a portion of Thor's fucking power beat him up and beat him. Like they
Yeah,
defeated him.
yeah.
Like,
which
come on.
is
Like, come on.
ridiculous, dude. So, I'm cool putting it in horrible too, but it was not good
I'm
for
cool with
me.
that. I'm cool with horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeff,
Yep.
you have any strong proponent opinions based off of the remaining films and TV shows that we have left? So,
No, I already stated my premises on how I'm basing this. I'm not basing this based off of like comic and a hardcore Marvel fan. I have watched
Let's skip
most
some of the stuff
films.
that you've probably not seen. You have not seen the Werewolf series. You haven't seen Brave
Nope.
World. You've
Nope.
seen the new Spider-Man.
Yep.
You want to talk about that then? Far from Home.
Far from.
Where
Is
are
that
we
the
putting
newest
that?
Spider-Man?
The newest Spider-Man.
Oh,
yep.
No Way Home is the newest one.
No Way
yep.
Home.
No
is
Way
the
Home. Yep.
newest,
Sorry, that's what it is. I
I
can't
was like,
really
yeah,
see
that's
it on
off.
this. For me, it was okay. I know a lot
I
of
mean,
Spider-Man.
I honestly can't even
enthusiasts loved it.
remember. Yeah, I can't even
I
remember
hate what they
happened.
did with Doctor Strange to him. The whole Tobey Maguire and Garfield bringing in and the transition. It was a Spider-Man great
Oh.
film, right? It was
So,
good for that.
I mean, the hype. Yeah, the hype was real, for sure.
What
for that.
happened is definitely real.
Yeah, bringing in Tobey Maguire as well as
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Yep, that was honestly pretty fucking sick.
Yeah. Like I said, it
But-
was a movie clearly made for the fans, but it didn't really tie into the MCU, and if anything, created additional plot holes, in my opinion.
You need that stroke.
Well,
every
I mean,
now and
I-
again, though,
so
too, though,
if-
right? Like, I mean,
The-
it goes
the
back to the point of like, go ahead, Jeff.
The only thing I would say is I watched Endgame, I watched Infinity War, I watched the initial Avengers. I watched probably only 15 of these movies in theater, and I have not seen hype outside of Endgame equivalent to this movie. But that doesn't state like it's
So, what would you
necessarily
put
a
it? Would
great
you put
film.
it at amazing or good?
I mean, I'm not going to go based off of just that, but I would say it's still a great film.
It introduced Venom now into the MCU because right at the end of the movie,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
symbiote
that
gets
was
left
what I was
behind.
thinking about.
Which has already been stated that they're not going to be able to do that because Sony's not willing to release
Sony's being
production rights on
cucked.
it.
Fucking reneged.
So
on
let's
ya.
not say that it introduced Venom because they're not going to do that allegedly.
I think
Right.
the Green Goblin come back, Willem Dafoe, that was insane performance. Like
That
Willem
was.
Dafoe in that
Oh, for
movie
sure,
is
yeah.
such a good villain.
Yeah.
And
I
I mean, good.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, like, as far as like actors and like hype, this movie is at the top, probably. But as far as like connection between everything else, you
If we
guys
move it
could
up
probably
from
speak better
okay,
on.
it either has to go to amazing, or we have to move something up from good to either amazing or down to okay.
I think it's
'Cause
amazing.
We have 9. We have 9.
I think it's a great film.
Which one?
It sets up.
I'd be willing to put it at good, but we'd have to recategorize good by one film. I cannot.
What's in
put it at
good?
Amazing.
What's in good?
We have Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Eternal, Shang-Chi, What If, and Wakanda Forever.
It's
We
above
can put- I
Wakanda
think
Forever
easy,
by far.
yeah. Wakanda down to okay, Spider-Man: Far From Home up to good.
Yeah, I mean that's the easiest one. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I don't
see,
think
like-
any of those films are up to amazing.
Well,
Outside
it
of
also
Eternals,
sets.
I did put that, but
It also sets up the new Spider-Man movies that are coming out, where it's like no one knows who he is. He's living in a
yeah,
shitty
if that's
apartment.
even in the
Like
MCU, because
it-
apparently fucking Sony's being a bitch about it again and saying that no, we're taking the rights back. We're not going to allow Spider-Man in the MCU.
Sony
anymore.
Universe sucks.
Right, but again, I don't think it added to the MCU, which is why I put it as not good. But bringing it
I
up
guess
to good
maybe
as far as I
It's a
can go.
nostalgia thing, and maybe that's
It
why
is
it
a
hits so
nostalgia,
hard.
and I
Yeah.
love the film.
It is 100%.
Because like I
Outside
grew
the
up watching the
MCU.
Tobey Maguire movies,
If
and
we're
then
just talking about
obviously the Andrew
Spider-Man
Garfield
films,
movies.
of course,
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. But for
Yeah.
the MCU
Yeah.
perspective, I can't
That's a
put
good
it anything
point,
higher
yeah.
than good.
What do we got after No Way
Fair
Home?
point.
For what Jeff may or may have not have seen before he leaves, Wolverine, Deadpool.
So good. I'm
gonna
also
put that
biased with that.
The
though.
greatest.
Yeah,
But we
that's
can't because
absolutely
there's already
fucking
8, so it
fantastic.
has to be amazing. Unless we're gonna. put
Does it
down
have
from
to
the
be?
greatest.
Yeah, does it have to
What's in
be?
the top? It's better than Loki season 1.
Well, can we put it at 8, and then the rest 9, right? So Avengers, Winter Soldier,
Better than the initial
Civil War,
Avengers, in
Doctor
my
Strange,
opinion.
No.
Ragnarok, Infinity War, Endgame, Loki season 1.
I think the original Avengers was such like a defining
It's
film.
iconic and
Like that set up
important.
everything else.
For me, if we're gonna, I wouldn't be against putting
I would
or
almost
Deadpool,
agree.
Wolverine up in the greatest, but I wouldn't be taking Avengers down prior to Endgame or.
You can't base a
Winter
movie
Soldier.
I
today
agree.
purely based off of what it did to the universe. If you look
I'm
at
not
any
purely
like
doing
video
that.
game,
I think
I
I'm
know,
very vocal about my.
no. I'm not targeting you.
Okay.
I'm saying the Avengers 1, I think, was highly rated based off of what it did for the MCU universe, and
Yeah.
it's mostly that.
I think
It does
that's
not
where.
compare to the other movies that should be in the greatest
Yeah.
I mean,
category.
what's the criteria?
I think that, but that's where I think the convulsion comes, right? Because we have to like, as we're creating our tiers, and I mentioned this earlier. It's like, okay, like what parameters are we based? Which all of us have relatively been vocal about. Like, okay, how am I going to base my pick or opinion on a specific thing? Is going to be, but none of us have agreed.
I'll give it to you simply. If you're looking at
Okay.
Legend of Zelda games rankings, the original Legend of Zelda is the most important, but it's still consistently ranked at C tier. Because it still does not compare to the other movies, it's just super important. That's the same way I feel about the original Avengers movie. It does not compare to the other movies that are there. It's just very important.
Okay. The other one would be
Perspectively,
again,
right? Yeah.
Winter Soldier. Bring that down to amazing. would also fit.
I've
the
never
bill.
seen the rest of them. I'm gonna head
I'm
out.
willing to bring that one down. Winter Soldier. It's a good movie. Great movie.
Winter Soldier was never up there in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
All right.
let
See
me
you,
put
Joe.
Deadpool and Wolverine up there.
Adios, guys.
See you, buddy.
Later, dude.
Yeah, I can agree with pulling the Winter Soldier down.
I'm putting Deadpool. I think it was better than Winter Soldier, but I really think Winter Soldier was great.
It's a fantastic film.
again,
Yeah.
with the levels, the parameters that we've put it on ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point of
Which
the
is why we
parameters.
did it. Exactly.
Right, that's why they exist.
Well, now that he left, we can go back to the order of things, or do y'all just kind of want to plug and play shit?
No, let's go back. I'm having
It's up
fun.
to you guys. I
I'm enjoying
mean,
this.
honestly, you guys, towards the end of this, outside of like Infinity War Endgame,
Dude, that was like
Few of
6 years
those-
ago, 7 years ago.
right. I mean, you guys probably have a little bit more knowledge. Like, I'll chime in where I want to. So I would say personally, it's up to you guys in terms of where you're at. I'm still actively like, I was already pre-planning watching, the whole MCU
Mhm.
from release order prior to stream, which is what I was doing, and I'm actively doing. So I'm still learning, but.
Yeah, I
It'd be
think
nice to hear y'all's opinions on the way while I'm like literally we're gonna get off stream and I'm gonna watch these bitches.
I think last year I rewatched them all like chronological order. So it started out with like Captain America, then it went to Captain
yeah, all the
Marvel,
way
and then like I
back
went
to-
through all the way and fucking finished
Yeah.
all the way through.
All right,
Yeah.
This one's Werewolf by Night.
I didn't watch it.
You did not watch it. I thought it
Mm-mm.
was amazing. It was standalone, didn't have anything to do with the MCU though, so it kind of really upsets me that nobody else has an opinion on this because I don't want to.
Can I ask you a question on that then?
Yes, please. Based off
With-
of what I've
with-
said so far.
Right, yeah. So because it's a standalone, right? Like we mentioned other standalones, and I guess a few of us have kind of mentioned standalones. For you in particular, what made that amazing with it being a standalone and having zero to do? Maybe not zero, but little to do with the MCU. Like
For
what
me,
makes
for
it
the
amazing?
production side of it, bringing back like old 1950s, 1960s horror films. Black and white. Most of it was done black and white. There was a little bit of color added in just to
Oh, you
emphasize
got like some
specific
real shots
scenes.
and shit in there.
I mean, it was all black and white, but like certain eyes or certain like color schemes would, like a rose would be red kind of thing, you know. Like for the
That's
most,
tight.
and then
Kinda like
the final,
WandaVision did in the beginning.
yeah,
Yeah,
kinda, yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
But that's not the point that I'm trying to make. I'm saying that this was clearly like a very weird thing that they were trying to do just to fucking bring something out. I wouldn't put it in the greatest or amazing category. I would put it was good, and I think some people should watch it, and I think they'd like it. But unfortunately, with the situation that we have left, the only way to put it in a good or an okay category, knowing what we have to come, would be to bring something else out of it, and that then takes away from the whole ideology of us putting this list together.
You 100%
Because-
have the floor in this regard because you're the only
Right.
one out of
I would
all
put it
three
as
of us.
I would put it as good, but we have
How
9
how does it
things already good, and we already
How
have
does it-
8 things as okay.
Yeah.
how does it tie into the MCU? Like how is this
It-
an
it doesn't.
MCU
It
show?
You said he didn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, so I thought we were grading MCU shows and movies.
I agree. But
I mean, I guess by
this
that
is
standard,
MCU,
also
right? So it's like
Moon Knight also wouldn't be
Right.
MCU,
Mo-
I guess,
and
by
we-
that
and we
standard.
put that as
That's a good point.
amazing.
Yeah, I got
So-
you.
That
It's
gets back to
difficult
the
really
point
put
they're
this
trying to
on.
get at, though, right? Like, we have to get to the point of like how we gauge, which I think generally most of the MCU, most of this list is definitely
Think like old
interwoven
Frankenstein.
MCU,
It's kind of how
but
this
they've got
works.
we've got like some little spurts that are kind of like yeah, maybe whatever, right?
Yeah.
When we go to judge those things, like what it is that matters, but that's the fun of it all, in my opinion. I mean, it's like we
if
get to
I were
gauge.
to place this without looking at everything else, I would put it in a good category, blindly speaking. But I can't do that. And
But
then
you ain't
again-
blind. Yeah.
And
I'm about to watch it then.
that makes
Yeah, yeah.
issues with the whole things of, all right, what are we then ranking down or up based off of the categorizing taking over that good spot? Because the good category is filled. It's already at 9.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
If I put it in
Think-
okay, that then fills the okay category. So
Yeah.
I can't
I
put
think
it in
maybe-
amazing because again, it wasn't as good as Moon Knight.
Fantastic.
which
Especially
was
at the end,
fantastic.
the twist,
Dude,
like
the whole
set up
thing
season
was
2.
so
Dude.
good. If they don't come out with season 2 of Moon Knight, I'm gonna be a little.
I
sad.
think maybe next time, like, we should like up front say what our criteria is. You know, like, I feel like me and you, and then also probably you, Rashad, as well, was like thinking overall impact of like a film. It's like
I
the
thought I
first
made that
Avengers
pretty
movie.
clear based off the beginning, but I mean,
Yeah, no,
Well,
we're
it seems
pretty-
like
I mean,
Jeff
we're pretty- I don't
wasn't
think we missed
tracking on
the
that
mark.
at
I don't
all.
think we missed the mark, but that's the point of. That's why I still think it's fun personally, because we collectively have different perspectives of our approach. Right now, like hardlining, like
which is why
what
this
it
list
is
is
for
gonna look a
us
lot different than it
specifically.
would be just my
I
list
think
if
the
I were ranking it.
multiple. I think the different perspectives make it better. In my opinion, I don't think we
I think so
missed
too.
anything. I think it's cool because we have different lenses, right? So I think it's cool. We get into conversations like we are now, about certain shows or certain movies that we haven't seen, or certain ones that we have seen, and going back and forth. If you look back progressively, we've all been able to like, this for me in particular made this good, right? And none of us are gonna have a shared perspective, so I think it works.
Yeah, I feel like
I think
if
it's
we're
good.
all judging off the same criteria, it would make it easier for us to understand each other's positions. Like Easton got all
agree.
fucking butthurt earlier, and then like with Jeff, like with the first
Yeah.
Avengers movie, like for us, we said it was up there with the amazing because of the impact it had. Like
Because of its
it
impact,
allowed
yeah.
the rest of the MCU to progress. But
Right, yeah.
like I'm gonna be honest, like if
But
you
for
watch
him,
it
as a
now,
viewer or as a looker or a looker, but like as an external opinion that doesn't view it from that lens, this is how I saw it,
but
which
see,
is
if
kind
you
of
look,
cool.
if you
though, right?
watch the first Avengers movie now, it's a good movie.
I watched it yesterday.
It's not amazing. It's not
It's
fucking
not
up there.
amazing. Yeah, I watched it
No,
yesterday.
it's just because it's older. It's kind of dated, and
Yeah, but I don't want to base it based off of the time frame that it came out either. I want to
Right, yeah,
look at
because
that's
Yeah.
that's why I want to look at it as the MCU as a whole, and rank this on how the MCU not only transpired but why it is what it is.
right, yeah.
see, that's what I was going off of as well.
That's
But
another-
Jeff,
that's
Jeff
another-
did not
but I-
seem to be going off that
That
grading.
again speaks to the proponent of like how the level of diversity that we have in terms of opinions of what we looked at it as. Because I equally also agree with you guys in terms of like, what does this do for the entire storyline, right? But if we look at it in that regards, like, and I think typically would not want to have this conversation on stream, but it is what it is for the sake of being. Me and Sean had a conversation about bringing the comics into the stream. Right, because that would be a whole different change of narrative of the way that we go.
I said I wouldn't rank a lot of these the way they were if we were
Right,
trying
yeah,
to
I
tie
would-
in
Yeah, because
how they
it's
would
so
into the
different.
comics,
It's
right?
so
We're looking at
different.
the Marvel
But I don't think the mark
Cinematic
is
Universe.
missed.
The Marvel
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the
Cinematic
mark is
Universe
missed
and how
because
it hit.
we get to see different lenses of how, like we had a conversation earlier about, it was about the first Avengers, I believe, right? Like people that kind of tied in between Iron Man 3 and the first Avengers, like people that didn't have the gainful knowledge of MCU. Like if you wanted to just watch a movie, it was Endgame. That's what it was. It just gave you a bunch of backstory and backfill to kind of get you up to speed, to enter you into the fold of the MCU. Like those movies existed, and so from the standpoint of what it added to the timeline, what it adds to the understanding of MCU, and the way that it's ranking between us three in particular, if you will, which even me is like still minor standpoint. I'm on both sides. I'm kind of neutral. But it was ranked differently in that way. But the lens also gets to encapsulate those individuals that might not have necessarily initially been Marvel fans or just didn't have the understanding of Marvel, but those movies came in. And so why was it those movies or TV shows that brought people into the fold of Marvel? Is that something that you also gauge as far as it being something that was good or not? Right. And I think that was like Jeff's lens in terms of like cinematically it was good, right?
Yeah.
Sean,
Well,
and your
yeah,
perspective, right? So it's kind of a blend. I think
I
it
don't
was
think he's as invested like in the overall.
right, yeah.
Like,
Right, yeah, for sure.
how
And
did
I
this
mean, as
benefit
many
the
people as
MCU as
are, there's
a
not.
whole?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I
Which is
agree.
why we're
I
gonna
agree.
move on to the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Um,
I thought
it
it
was
was
okay.
amazing.
Really? You liked it?
As a
Kevin
one-off,
Bacon?
it helped.
Kevin,
Yeah,
Kevin Bacon, baby.
but unfortunately, seeing how I think things are going to transpire with the listing, it has to go down.
I don't think it's good enough to be amazing and take something potentially else's spot. No.
Right.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I admittedly,
Is there
I
anything
had a
in the good or
conversation with
okay?
Sean.
Go ahead.
Is there anything what?
I was gonna say, is there anything in the good or okay spot that you think is
I gotta look.
worse?
It's kind of
the
kinda
holiday
blurred.
special. So we got in the good category: Iron Man original, Thor original, Captain America original, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Ant-Man original, Eternal, Shang-Chi, What If, Spider-Man: No Way Home. In the okay category, we had Hulk original, Iron Man 3, Galaxy of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home, Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, Wakanda Forever, and now Werewolf by Midnight.
For me, I would say Far
Does-
From Home. I think it really didn't do a
Guardians-
whole lot MCU wise. It was definitely like a Spider-Man exclusive film. They brought in like Mysterio, and then that's really it. Like,
I agree. I already said that it was not good.
yeah,
So I'm
I
completely okay putting
that's
it
definitely the
below.
weakest of the three films we've had, and it's not that great to me.
And
It's
therefore, I would put that in an okay, which I agree. Again, this sucks because
I agree. I got to
everybody's
take a
here.
piss.
But if you haven't seen the holiday special, which again is convoluting a little bit because it's not a full movie, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
how are we ranking this and the tradition and shit? But
Was it
for
listed
what
as
they
a movie
are
or was it
titles,
listed
we're
as a
looking.
limited series?
It's a title. It's not a series. It's
on
not anything.
it's on Disney Plus.
It's like an hour special.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's funny. It's entertaining. It's pretty much just follows
very okay.
Drax.
It's like a very
Mantis.
long TV episode, but it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
And it was good.
a literal
I don't
holiday
have
show.
I don't have anything negative to say about it other than that it was just not a full
Is that-
Guardians of the Galaxy film, and it was a, you know.
There's
this is
nothing
where we're
that
gonna get
the
into
Guardians
the
of
I Am Groot series, episode 1, the little individual. Again, they did 3 of these things. Holiday special, it was a huge success because of how good it was. They then came out with the I Am Groot other series.
Yeah, I don't
Like
remember
2.
it.
I thought the next one wasn't the greatest. If nobody else has seen it, I'm gonna put it in not good.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
And then they had a third one, which I thought was in between those two. And because of the space, I'm gonna have to put it as not good because I feel like they were capitalized. It was better than the one after the holiday special, but it wasn't necessarily as good as the holiday special one. So if we're putting the holiday special as an okay after bringing Spider-Man Far From Home down, I mean, it doesn't make sense to rearrange the good and okay category right now, which is really what I did not want to get into. Why I was like pushing things up and down based off of shit in the beginning, but of course now we're here.
Yeah,
Now
that's the thing.
everybody's
Like,
gonna
I
come
feel
back and
like,
be well,
with-
you just changed shit
Part of
based
the
off
game.
of what you wanted after everybody
of the game.
left. It's like, well, of course, it is what it is.
yeah, I feel like with Marvel, they are very consistent at not making horrible films.
Yeah.
So I feel like-
I like the Groot series. I'd put them at good, you know, but because we have
Yeah.
listed the fact that we can only do 8 the greatest, 8 amazing, and 9 for the remaining categories, we have to structure it in a specific way that makes those numbers work.
How
For
many
any
titles do we have
viewers,
left?
Just a few. What is that? 4, 8, 10, something like that. 9 or 10. So
10
again,
titles. You
for the
guys want to
viewers,
do another 2 races? 6 races, 2 beers?
I'm gonna just
Or
probably
you just
ride this
wanna
out
let
and I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that. But for the viewers,
Let's run it
again,
then.
if you haven't paid attention, we're doing 8 in the greatest, 9 in the amazing category, and 9 for everything else, which is why we're having to move things around. We can't just put things where we want.
Yeah, I feel like if you didn't put the stipulation on, the majority of them would have been like in the okay category.
100%.
I feel like it
agree.
forces us to actually think and like
That's
vocalize
kinda what I
why
wanted.
we think a
That's
certain
kinda
way.
what I wanted. Yep.
Yeah.
Quantumania.
I did not like it at all.
Yeah, I really hated the ending. I like how it's set up. I'm a big Quantum guy. I like Ant-Man in general. I love Kang in the series from the comic books. And if they would have stuck to Kang the Conqueror being the antagonist over the next phase, my opinion might be different, but I'm okay putting this in the not good category specifically because of the ending. Like, it was just kind of stringed together, man, unfortunately. Like, the MSP, the Marvel Studios Parliament, or a lot of the actors refer to him as they.
Mm-hmm.
They did reworks so often with this film up until the month before the release of this film.
Damn, I didn't know that.
It could have been a really good film, but again, it's just another sake of politics
Like,
getting involved and trying to do what they want compared to what the
all the
directors
red
are
tape
want.
and shit.
Yep.
I think so I like Paul Rudd. I like the first 2 Ant-Man films. For me, I think the quantum realm setting just doesn't do it for me.
I
And
think it makes sense, but I mean, I can see why it wouldn't, because they did
but see,
a
like,
great job
this was
explaining
supposed to be the introduction of Kang, right, to the Avengers, and like that's a big fucking deal. Obviously, this is before everything happened with him beating up that woman or whatever he did. So like this was supposed to be like a huge thing, and I feel like the way it was delivered in the movie wasn't like as big of a deal as it should have been.
Yeah.
Because like Kang has he's Kang the Conqueror, like he's insane, like it's crazy, and I feel like they just kind of like nerfed him a little bit,
Yeah.
I
mean,
just
not a little bit. They did.
it didn't land with me, and then
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean,
I'm gonna put it in not good. And I don't want to say it was horrible. Like I said, there are a lot of good proponents of the film.
I'd watch it again,
Yeah,
but
it could have been so much better.
yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I know some
Idea
people
was good.
didn't.
We're in the new ages.
I'm a little biased with this film.
How so?
Prior to this film, over the 2 years leading into this film, the only thing that was great outside the holiday special and Loki, everything was trash, in my opinion.
And
Really?
Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, prior to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So then coming out with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it was like the first aha moment, because again, the other 2 things were a holiday special, which was a one-off like hour-long thing, and then Loki, which was a season. Other than those things, and WandaVision kind of, but other than those 2 things, there was nothing fantastic about the MCU, and as a huge fan, I was just a little disappointed and sad, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out, and I was like, finally they're doing something that was kind of reminiscent of greatness again. So I'm biased to the sense of it being amazing because it was the first thing in several years and the only movie to come out in like from the time it came out in 2023 pre-COVID. There was like 3 years of just no movies that were good. So I don't want to put it in the amazing category specifically because of that, but in my mindset as a fan going into the film, seeing it, coming out of the theater, that's where my head was at. And I've watched it again since then. Again, I don't have many complaints. Yeah, it wasn't like super tied into the MCU. It was a very Guardians of the Galaxy finalist kind of movie. So I can see it only being good. But again, that also complicates things with the structure. So, what are y'all's thoughts?
I really enjoyed it.
I think it was good. Personally,
I really enjoyed it. I think my only gripe is how they portrayed Adam Warlock. That might be my only complaint about it. But I'm obviously biased because I think the Guardians films are the most consistent, best films trilogy that the MCU has released.
From a fucking trilogy, top to bottom, I also equally agree.
Yeah.
And I think we had this conversation when you were in the restroom, Sean, but I think
We
I
can bring
also
it back up when
equally
he's back.
agree.
Yeah, James Gunn, like Chris Pratt, like the whole Guardians cast, like it works so
fucking good,
well.
but it's like a breath of fresh air for the MCU
Yeah.
to you when it came in, and then it was just like consistently what it was supposed to be, and it was good.
Mhm.
Like you can't really argue that, you know, and not in my opinion.
It didn't take itself too seriously. Like it was catered around the whole like joking, lighthearted. It had its moments, right? Like where it got like darker and deeper.
And it
Especially
brought
the
in
second one,
like
right?
the love of pets, which is, hits home here.
Yeah.
So what category are we looking at?
Fuck, man. I'm sorry. I think it's.
man.
I'm okay putting it
I
in
would
amazing, personally.
I would say amazing. Yeah, I think all three of the Guardians films are.
I think
They could be argued to be amazing. All of them.
I think the second one again. Yeah, I already said that, which is why we have it in the okay list. But I think the third one arguably was the best one out of all three of them. But I could see maybe comparing it and making it equal as the first one, which we also have in the amazing category.
Yeah, I would say the first and third are equal in my eyes. I can see an argument either way for which one you prefer, but they're just fantastic.
But for me, what puts the third one over the first one is the lackluster performance of MCU movies for 3 years moving into that movie.
Yeah, like made it shine.
It just like, holy shit, we're back, baby.
Yeah.
That was the first.
Yeah, I mean, you got so much time
movie. Again, Loki did it for me by far because I think Loki was one of the greatest things of all times. Top 3 things that happened in the MCU, but for a movie specifically, it was like we might not actually be dead, which was a whole category that we're supposed to be talking about in the syllabus. But who would have thought that ranking these movies would have pretty much talked about everything else that we wanted to talk about?
I did.
I think it's a different itch, like the TV show versus the movie thing, right? Because like TV show, you just watch it in your house versus like going into a movie theater and sitting it down and recliner and like watching it. It's different.
Yeah,
and like Loki was fantastic. I love Loki. It's a phenomenal show, but like it's just a different kind of enjoyment.
The viewership changes, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different experience.
Secret Invasion.
I enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Ooh, that's tough.
Nick Fury fans.
Okay, if you count out the CGI and how bad that shit was,
and the plot twist of who the Skrulls were,
I enjoyed it. It brought in Super Skrull, right? And I enjoyed it. To me, at the point when I watched it, it was after I watched like Moon Knight, everything like that. And I think I already watched Guardians 3 at the time, and that was at the time. It gave me enjoyment better than anything else had previously, besides obviously like Guardians and stuff like that.
That's solid.
I would put it as a waste of time.
Really?
In my opinion, the bottom category. Did you know that almost half of the entire script was written by AI?
I did not know that.
It was
I mean-
a new thing they were trying, and to me,
And
it
it was
was
still that good?
so. I don't think it was that good. I think it was so obvious that Nick Fury carried that series. I could see how it was good. Like, it wasn't like to the point where it wasn't worth watching. So maybe not waste of time. Maybe bump it up to horrible, right? But I wouldn't watch any of it again. And I think it didn't add the plot holes that Captain Marvel was missing, which is why Captain Marvel wasn't even high enough. And if you're going to create a TV series, it should have really honed into that. And it was just, I don't know, it was just lackluster at best. Like, maybe a waste of time was too harsh to originally put that at, but I don't know,
Does
man.
that come on the
How
note of it being
if we have Iron
predominantly
Man,
AI generated,
Thor,
as you
Captain
said?
America, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Eternal, Shang-Chi, What If, and Far From Home in the good category, like, I don't think that we could even compare Secret Invasions to any of those on
See,
a relative basis, because that
I think-
category is full, and so is the category below that, which is okay, which is Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Home Again, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Multiverse of Madness, Wakanda Forever, the
I
Holiday
think
Special, and then the Werewolf by Night.
I think maybe this is like becoming the thing where we just view it through a different lens.
Yeah,
Right?
and that's what
So,
we're
like-
talking
like-
about, which is what I wanted all of this to be about. Not screaming
like-
like, you're fucking retarded. Like,
Yeah. So
no,
like,
like,
at
what
the
is your
point
opinion?
that Secret Invasion came out, I think I don't even remember the last series before that. I know Love and Thunder had already come out. I know Multiverse of Madness had already come out. I think that was kind of through like a drought, I guess would be the word to describe it. Not a low point, because it's kind of been a consistent low point since Endgame with occasional spikes. But I think it was enough for me to watch it without thinking too much about it and still enjoying it, you know?
Did it add anything to the MCU, in your opinion?
I mean, it introduced Super Scroll.
I'm
I
asking
mean,
because you and I are the only ones that have opinion on this. Because Rashad, correct me if I'm wrong. You said you have not seen this, correct?
Secret Invasion?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it explains some of Nick Fury's background, right?
which I'm looking forward to for sure. but I'm
after-
looking ahead.
So let's go meet in the middle. I'm gonna. Where do you put it? Because I'm gonna put it at waste of time.
I would say I wouldn't say it's a waste of time. I would say it's at least above that for me.
Okay, but where is that? Because we're gonna meet in the middle. Because it's just your, in my opinion.
I can't read those.
We have the yellow.
I would say
is
it's okay. Like I had a few moments where like I enjoyed it. Like the last episode where what's her name? Emilia Clarke is the Skrull, but she's disguised herself as Nick Fury. Like I think that was good
That's
Okay.
pretty
entertainment to watch.
sick.
And she starts taking in all the powers of the Avengers, and she starts fighting.
So
Like,
that puts
I
it in
enjoyed it.
the not good category. Like I said, I didn't hate it, and I just wouldn't watch it again. And maybe I'm biased because I think again they could have done so much more with it. But
Not maybe
I really
biased.
think the AI situation got too involved in it.
I do remember that they got in trouble for using AI generated concept arts
Not just
for
concept,
the
but
show.
they did that for scripting too.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a big deal. People were shitting on him for that.
It's gonna be interesting to see, which is it's kind of a leg. Like it's same but adjacent, I guess. But it's
Samuel L.
something I've been
Jackson was
looking at
great
recently.
as always, but
But we're gonna see that a lot more in movies. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Especially, I think that's gonna be way more just because there aren't too many original ideas. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that falls.
Miss Marvel
But back
or
to
the
the
Marvels, the Marvels.
The
Watch
Marvels. I
Have
got
you
like
seen
40 minutes into it. Today watching it.
I could already tell by the trailer it wasn't catered towards me as a viewer, so I just didn't watch it.
It's probably
Fair.
closer to you than it is to me.
Because they're all.
What did
what
you
do
think
you
about
mean?
it? Did you watch that today after I said that?
Yeah, I did. Well,
Yeah.
I ended up finishing because, like I said, I mentioned earlier pre-stream just for whatever, but I had started watching MCU in release order, and me and Sean and I have a conversation earlier, and he was like, "Well, at least watch the Marvels because I think I might be feeling one who had seen it." I finished The Dark World, which I could have finished the entire fucking Marvels without watching The Dark World because that movie
Right.
sucks so
It's
bad.
not a good movie. It's not very good.
It's not good. I watched the Marvels, but it goes back to that same narrative like we're talking about earlier. Like it's made for the modern day viewer, in my opinion. I think it's also made for.
Do you have a ranking in mind where you would put what you've seen, obviously without knowing the middle or the ending of it?
I would put it as not good, personally. Like comparatively to everything else, and what I have in mind, what I know we have, like it's. I get it, but for me personally, not.
Have you seen it, Sean?
Yep.
Yes.
What do you think?
What's your take?
I briefly mentioned earlier that when we were talking about She-Hulk, if there was a category lower than waste of time, there was one other thing that I would put in that category, and we've
Is that bad?
approached that.
Yeah.
So like, I originally heard like all the negative opinions on it. But see, like when it kind of comes to this kind of stuff, like I assumed a lot of the negativity came solely because it was like a all 3 female led cast, you know? Because like people suck. That's the shit they do. But like even just like from I didn't mind Captain Marvel, right? Captain Marvel was not. I enjoyed it. It wasn't a bad film.
No, I liked it.
But
I was trying to push it for it to be good, but
yeah,
you said
I didn't mind
okay,
it.
so-
It explained a lot of the backstory and the setup for like Nick Fury, and then like
Mhm.
even like later like Secret Invasion with the Skrulls and stuff. Um, I never watched Miss Marvel, so I knew I was missing a large portion of the backstory needed to watch the show. And it just
Well,
never
Miss
like
Marvel's also in categories and waste of time.
yeah, it just never
The
like
Marvels.
I never
again,
saw the film and was like I'm
I
gonna go
love Carol
watch that. Like,
Danvers. I liked her friend, who in my opinion, wasn't the greatest influx of how she got her or plot of how she got her powers by just walking through WandaVision's.
Walking through some yeah.
oh yeah, I forgot she is the main
God,
chick in
yeah.
WandaVision, huh?
But
Or one of them.
again, overall, the movie was just. It was made for a teenage.
It was made for the modern day. Yeah, it was
Not
made.
even
It's
the
like
modern
watching
day.
like
It's like if you're a middle school girl who believes that you can beat up a boy and that's what your parents want to teach you, that you can beat up a boy if you really wouldn't put the effort into. All right, maybe you can see that movie and maybe get some
if you like
motivated to go to the
13
fucking
Reasons
gym.
Why, you will like.
But bro,
that
this movie was atrocious. It didn't add anything to the MCU. It had so many plot holes. It was so I like to compare it to, which I know we're not talking about the DC universe right now, and we'll probably
You better
touch
not.
on that later on.
DC
Did you
fanboy
ever
or something?
see Wonder Woman
I'm definitely
1984?
pro DC.
So I watched the original one, the first one. I didn't watch the second one because of how bad.
Absolutely, it was just pandering. It was the Disney suck hups, the transgender community, the fucking everything about this movie was just let's go hard against our political ideology agenda because this is the time to do it in 2024. And it was horrible. It literally matched the vibes of She-Hulk. And if you've liked She-Hulk, then maybe you would like this. But if you didn't like She-Hulk, you'd probably categorize it in the same way.
Yeah, I only watched She-Hulk for Charlie Cox's Daredevil. That's it.
Yeah. So I know, Rashad, you said you watched first 40 minutes of it and you put it in not good, would you rather me upgrade it to horrible because you're the only other opinion here? I've even watched the Marvels twice.
I mean, it just comes from my perspective.
You watched it twice?
I watched it twice because of how much I hated it. I'm like, I gotta be sure.
Get down. Hey.
And I think it was even worse the second time around. There wasn't like anything like, oh, I missed that. No, it was like, no, you're just adding to the hate that I have for this movie. And I love Captain Marvel's fucking character in this too. It's just
that's one gripe I have with MCU is they have definitely nerfed the shit out of her because Captain Marvel is stupid strong in the comics.
She is
like insanely strong.
Which is also stupid.
That's a different conversation.
And that was another thing that I even stated because Lee and I saw this in the theaters, and we walked out and I was like, dude, I feel like this movie could have just been another Captain Marvel movie. Why did she need her two friends that were just talking bullshit fucking propaganda the entire fucking time? This movie was clearly written about the agenda beyond what they wanted you to think compared to the actual movie itself, because there were so many scenes where it's like Captain Marvel could have done all of this on her own. Why are these other two fucking stupid bitches here? Again, I'm going to leave it at that. Waste of time. If you disagree, Rashad, I'll bring it up to horrible. It's definitely not going into the not good category.
I might only watch it purely...
You have a stronger opinion than I do. So
you said there's no MCU progression whatsoever?
You get a little bit more insight on, what's her name? The Photon Girl. Fuck.
She's it's like the French name or whatever she got.
Yeah, you get a little bit more insight on that. Beyond
the black
that,
chick, right?
The backstory on her a little bit.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's no real progression.
She's not going to be a fucking MCU main player moving forward, so
there's no real progression. But there is backstory added, which I can appreciate, I guess, which is why I probably watched it the second time.
I watched a YouTube video on a synopsis of it.
What if season 2? We've come to the first thing that I have not seen.
I think it's weaker than the first one.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember a whole lot of it. That's I guess that's the best way to summarize it.
I don't want to put it in the horrible category because I haven't seen it, but we have filled out the good, okay, and not good categories as of now.
I would say season 1, like, I think specifically the Zombies, Marvel Zombies episode alone is better than all of season 2.
Okay, like I said, I can't say anything. I haven't seen it. I agree that the first season should be in good category.
Yeah.
I have not seen the second categories or the second season, so it's really up to you, Brandon. Do you want to make some adjustments in the okay, not good category, or just leave it in the horrible category for the sake of ease?
I mean, I'm Shang-Chi. It wasn't my speed, but if y'all agree that Shang-Chi should be where it is, I would say leave it.
I do, but even then, if we're going to move it down, we're only going to move it down to the okay category, which means we need to bring something from the okay category down to the not good category. And then something from the not good category.
I can't read it, man. It's so pixelated. I can't see it. It's fine. I'm cool with leaving it at where it's at. Season 2.
We can bring Secret Invasion down to horrible, and then what if season 2
I was the one saying I didn't mind it. I enjoyed it.
I know, but it's... Or we could also bring the second Groot down to horrible. How about that?
I don't remember the second one at all.
There's the holiday special, I Am Groot, and I Am Groot.
I don't think the Groots should be in this conversation, in my opinion, but that's just me.
They are. Let's do that. We'll put What If Season 2 into not good and bring down that final Groot one into horrible.
Okay. I
suppose, yeah. Wasn't the I Am Groot thing like really short too?
They were about an hour long. Like 45
I mean, it's the same as like the holiday special.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. See, I think those two. I mean,
technically, they're still MCU. If you go on to like Disney's MCU, they have everything, even like the 20-minute little skits or not skits,
Yeah.
but like 20-minute little shows they do, like Agent Coulson and shit like that.
Yeah, I started watching it on a Plex server that Justin, who is not here, fuck you, or fried chicken you, but who is not here. But I actually went to start watching it on Disney because I've learned how they have the MCU package or just Marvel as a whole package, and I was like, oh, let me get a better general gist and find out some tidbits. But
Mm.
I mean, I am Groot stuff. So, like,
Next season, next series or whatever, next title, Loki season 2.
Amazing.
I would also put this in the greatest.
Greatest, yeah. Either amazing or greatest. I'm fine either way.
if it's anything comparatively to season
it's so
one,
good.
it's fucking good.
It's
Because season one's
in my
so
opinion,
good.
it's better than season 1 because it just adds that much extra understanding of where the MCU is supposed to be going.
There's definitely a lot of longing after watching season one of Loki though too, because it was that good. I was like, there's got to be more. There's to
Dude,
be
season
more.
2 delivered 100%.
Like you crave.
Also fantastic because they had to write out Kang.
Yep,
And they did it
didn't even
so
think about that.
perfectly.
Yeah, they did.
They did it so well.
I think it was so good. I would put it better than Deadpool and Wolverine, even though I think that deserves a spot in the greatest. I would put that better than Doctor Strange, even though I think that deserves a spot in the greatest. The only movie title, again, which is why I'm saying this, because we have 8 slots already, so we can't put it in the greatest title without moving something around. The only title, in my opinion, that should be in conversation to move down to Amazing, which we do have a slot for, is either Endgame or the original Avengers. But I totally am going to be on the fight for Loki Season 2 being in the greatest category.
I haven't seen Loki Season 2, but so I can't really have much of an opinion, but my opinion on the original Avengers being as high as it is a little bit less than it is, per se. I see it as interchangeable, but I don't know.
This comes back to like the criteria. Are we grading on the impact? Or are we grading like
right? Yeah, but I mean,
cinematography, everything.
We're supposed to be grading this on 6 people's opinion, but we're left to 3.
Right? Yeah,
so.
it's a collective opinion. The perspective differs.
Right? I would say drop down original Avengers.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Because like Endgame was like the culmination of like what was like 10 years plus of movies.
You got that.
yeah.
I was satiated or scratched, if you.
Yeah. I mean, the original Avengers was great because of what it did and how it like allowed the MCU to progress. Because it pretty much just gave like, I don't think Disney owned them at the time, but it gave Marvel people want this.
Yeah.
I
hate to disintegrate a movie title based off of it coming out in 2008 compared to 2025, right? Like that's not the point that I'm.
I mean, but
that's
the right, yeah. But it is a factor at the same time. You can't divulge.
I personally am trying to make my opinion based off of not adding to the date that it came out and understanding the time in which it was. And in 2008 or 2012, when that movie came out, it was amazing.
Yeah, original Avengers was
fantastic. I'm basing it off of 2012 in terms of cinematic.
No, yeah, I mean, I don't take it. I mean, I don't think
I'm not gonna be like, well, it doesn't really hold weight because 15 years later, we have better fucking graphics and shit. It's like,
wait, I don't think. I mean, that's like
that
would be the equivalent of having a conversation. Which again, I think like this is why we're having a conversation the way that we're having it, because I mean, and gift your opinions on this. But if we were having the same conversation, like you stated earlier, with bringing comics into this, all of this shit is totally right. And that's not even about, the cinematic appeal and the allure of things. It would change the structure of how things go, right? And so I think based off of where we are, I don't think that's a proponent. Well, I don't think it's a major proponent, but I think it's like maybe a small factor. But again, like we said, like amongst us, the timeline, understanding what MCU is, how everything culminates together, that's kind of like a Stockholm. But again, like you said, it's 6 people who have different perspective opinions on how they see
Yeah.
what MCU is, right? And that's where we are.
And
Yeah.
like,
What if
so
season 3? Oh, sorry, Brandon. Go
I,
ahead.
I saw both. I saw the first Avengers in movie theaters, and I saw Endgame as well, like the fucking night it released.
Same.
But it's like you were saying, Sean. It's hard to differentiate between like the impact, because obviously I would say Endgame was a million times better, but I had 20 other movies leading up to Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's definitely a hard like pick, because like the whole purpose of the first Avengers movie was to see if people wanted this, and
Right.
it
It
led
was
to
that
Endgame.
introduction. Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's how do you determine the value in it?
You
know?
basically have to put yourself in a position, in my opinion, to where you hardline what your focal point is and what you want out of this.
Yeah.
In terms of like making it something that's not as difficult to meter, if you will. It's like, okay, this is the focal lens that I have for what I want the MCU to be, whether it be cinematically, whether it be storyline wise, whether it be closeness to comics, whatever your perspective is. If you want it not to be difficult, because there is going to be a disarray over the course, because like you said, 20 movies in between that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how long it's taken us to get through this list. I mean, we
Yeah,
have a
and I
we
don't, I
have a
don't, I don't
lot to
disagree
cover,
to
right?
any
So
of
there's
y'all's
so
points.
many things. I think there's a lot in it, right? And so I think, and this is not to, this is no shade to anybody. It's just generally speaking, right? If you're looking at this topic and a conversation that we're having, and you really, really just want to be definitive, the easiest way, in my opinion, to hardline that is to tailor your focus of what it is you want from this thing, right? Pick from the few, I guess. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could argue like the Avengers delivered what we wanted, right? Because we had never
Right.
had nothing like that before.
Yeah.
And then Endgame definitely delivered everything we wanted, because we had gotten used to it, and it just went a step above what we'd ever seen before. I guess
Now I'm
Infinity
looking
War is
at
probably the best, at least in my opinion. The Infinity War is better than Endgame. It's
was.
marginally close.
I don't think it's even marginally close. That's why I would put it in a different category personally. But I think Infinity War was the shock value. I think Endgame was more of a what people expected to kind of happen. And
Endgame
it was for the
Endgame was there to
fans.
round some shit out.
I don't necessarily inherently appreciate films for giving the audience what they want to see, which is why I put Infinity War over Endgame, because Endgame gave the audience what they wanted to see. Infinity War shuffled the fucking bucket.
Mm.
Everybody was like,
Everyone.
"What the fuck, bro?"
They brought
No,
everyone
dude.
into that movie. Every single
Everybody was
character.
in there, and half the people died. All the people that you've been fucking
Yeah.
loving and shit, and you don't know. This is again watching that. If you did not see that in theater at the time that it released,
Oh, I did. I did. Oh,
It doesn't add up. Without spoilers, that movie was just the awe of what the fuck moments. I don't think I ever felt as much emotion
Yeah.
in a Marvel movie outside of that. That was truly like, holy shit, how are they gonna fucking fix this? Everybody just fucking died.
I got two things to say real quick. So, the only other time I felt that much emotion was in Endgame, whenever the Falcon was talking to Cap for the first time as he was facing Thanos alone, and all the portals open, and then they played the orchestra Avengers theme song. And like, dude, it gives
That
me
is an
fucking
epic
goosebumps,
moment,
like
I'm
looking
not
back
gonna
now. And then he
Yeah,
says like
that's-
Avengers Assemble for the first time. Like, that was the only other time I think I'd gotten that much emotion.
To me, that was like a cock-stroking moment, though. Like, it was just so expected.
It was
to
a good
happen.
cockstroke.
It was. It was. It
So
was literally
good.
tip to base, bro. It even like knuckle sack the balls a little bit, but not too much to give you a stomach ache.
But I will say the reason I pick Infinity War is a better film, at least to me, is because the only reason Endgame was as good as it was due to Infinity War.
100%. 100%.
Also,
That can't be argued.
what they
in
did
my
with
How
Thor
good
in
Infinity War
Endgame
was.
still the fucking bullshit, jack off, comic relief bullshit when he's
And it
the
was still
strongest
great,
Avenger.
and I'm sure you'll watch it again if it came on today, tomorrow.
Oh, I've watched it
Right
maybe a
now.
dozen times, man. I don't think you understand how true of a comic or Marvel Universe fan I am. I own all the phases. And I know I can get them on Disney Plus because I also pay for that. But I
You're a
still buy
physical
them.
media guy.
No, I'm just an MCU fan. Like I want to see them, and if I'm not watching anything, I'm watching something Marvel.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a lot of physical
I've
media guys.
seen most of these movies over a dozen times, if not more than that, depending on which one you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
I know the ins and out. I fucking Google the shit. Like if I don't know a question that I have on why is this that way, I try and figure out the closest relation to the comic books. Then I'll read that comic book online. Like again, I'm a fucking super nerd when it comes to Marvel.
After we finish these last few, I wanna bring up a question, but I'm gonna wait until after we get
Okay,
through.
let's move on.
Yeah, let's run
try and
through
finish
these.
this, guys, for the
Yeah.
viewers. We still have a few in here. Sorry, I really appreciate you guys sticking with us. You know, drinking 8 beers and trying to categorize shit is a little difficult sometimes. What if season 3? Second thing that on this entire list that I have not watched, so I have no opinion.
I haven't watched it.
None of us have an opinion then.
It's the easiest way to categorize it into a waste of time. Because
I didn't even know
Moving
season
that.
3 came out. Honestly.
Yeah. Moving on, next one.
Apologies if you're watching and you think it was great. I just can't.
Leave your
I
opinion
haven't
in the
seen
comments
it,
if you got one.
so they either didn't market it right or whatnot. But I'm just not going to take up a slot that something else I do and can't speak on is going to take. So
If you care that fucking much, tell us now.
yeah, tell us
Yeah.
now. Agatha.
Never watched it.
Agatha all along. Rashad, have you seen it?
Likewise. Nope.
I did not finish it. I watched the first 4 episodes.
That ain't enough.
So when you watched WandaVision in the first 4 episodes, did it like reel you in to where you want to finish it?
Yeah.
So you would say WandaVision, at least in the first 4 episodes, is
Oh,
better
there's no
than
comparison.
Agatha.
It was way better than that. Agatha, I feel I could categorize as a waste of time, but because there's not an ulterior opinion, and I have seen some of it, and it wasn't like complete bullshit, and I did like WandaVision, and I loved her character in WandaVision. I'm just gonna put it in horrible. Again, I'm sorry, this is not a great rating on that one because I didn't finish it. I don't know if they wrapped it together at the end and made it worthwhile. It didn't reel me in to finish it with as much Marvel shit that I watch, which is a telltale sign that it should probably be categorized as a waste of time. But because we have the space, it's just going to be in horrible.
What do we got after Agatha?
We have Spider-Man, the comic shit one.
I saw the animation style. I couldn't get into it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I just wholeheartedly the same.
It seemed kind of okay. I mean, like I said, I only watched like the first 2.5 episodes just recently because I knew we were going to be doing this video soon. It didn't drive me to fucking want to finish it. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of like
I do think if you're a Spidey fan, if you're like a super Spider-Man fanatic, you're gonna love it. From what I got of it, and I saw 3 episodes, just like in random too, because I wanted to get towards the end of what we were looking at. But like animation still on par with Brandon.
Yeah.
It just kind of threw me off. Like,
Just wasn't my
I didn't
thing.
hate it, but it was like I could see how like as a Spider-Man fanatic, like I mean, me, you know, in a different space, and DC side, but being a Batman, like I'm in different pools, right? So if you're a Spider-Man fan, um, it could be appealing, I guess, but that's the most I could give to that
And final
personally.
one on the list is Brave New World.
Not good. Okay at best.
Ain't seen it. Don't fucking spoil it.
I have also not seen this.
It's
Spoil it, please. Actually,
Without giving a bunch of spoilers to me, compare it to the series, the
what do you
transition
mean?
series,
the Captain America
Captain
series
America, the Falcon
specifically.
and Winter Soldier.
It's the worst of all the Captain America movies.
No, not the movie. I'm
Damn.
talking about
Oh.
the TV series, the Falcon and the Winter
Oh,
Soldier.
okay.
Oh.
But see, I'm a little
from that
different
to
because
here.
I liked
Is it
Falcon and Winter Soldier. There was a few things I didn't like about it, but I enjoyed it generally. But this is the best way to explain it. It's not a Captain America movie. It is a sequel to the original, the Incredible Hulk movie. That's what it is. So
Okay.
it does not expand upon like Falcon becoming Captain America or anything like that. It's literally like a direct sequel to the Incredible Hulk movie that came out in like 2008
That's a twist.
with what's his name? Norton.
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton. Yeah, it's literally like a direct sequel to that.
No shit.
Yeah. So
That is interesting.
I mean, it was okay. It definitely. I guess I didn't really know what I expected from it
I
going
didn't
into
expect
watching
that.
it, but it's literally like a sequel to that because like the actor who played Ross died, right?
Yeah.
And so they brought in Harrison Ford, and he's the new General Ross. And he becomes Red Hulk. Obviously, if you've seen the trailers, you know that. But it definitely it goes back to that storyline, and then kind of to wraps things up.
Holy shit.
That wraps up all of the titles. Let us know down in the comments below if you disagree with any of the ratings. I know there's a few of them that were kind of a little pushed. Just for the sake of reminding y'all, we put a limit on each category. The first two categories, we only allowed 8 titles. The remaining
8 titles,
amount of categories, we only allowed 9 categories in them. So we did have to adjust some that we would have probably said were okay. We either had to move up or down based off of what they were, etc. For a waste of time, we have Thor, The Dark World, Echo, the TV series, She-Hulk, the TV series, Miss Marvel, the TV series, The Marvels, the movie, What If Season 3, which none of us has seen, so that's why we put that there. We didn't have an opinion. Apologies if it was great. Moving up to the horrible category, The Falcon and Winter Soldier TV series, Thor, Love and Thunder, the movie, one of the I Am Groot segments, the little spin-offs, Agatha All Along, the TV series, which only one of us had seen, so there was a hard debate on that. The Spider-Man Verse series, the cartoon, again, only one of us had seen some of that. Captain America Brave New World, again, only one of us has seen that. Moving on to the rest of them, we have all seen them for the most part. Not good category was Iron Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Widow, Hawkeye, the TV series, Spider-Man Far From Home, I Am Groot, the first segment, Quantumania, Secret Invasion, What If Season 2 for the OK category, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Home Alone, what the fuck, I forgot the name of the title. Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Wakanda Forever, Werewolf in the Night, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special for the good category. These are movies that we thought were good, not amazing, but better than okay. The original Iron Man, Thor, the original Captain America, Avengers: Age of Ultron, the original Ant-Man, The Eternals, Shang-Chi, What If Series 1, and Spider-Man Far From Home. Amazing category: Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, Black Panther, the first one, WandaVision, the TV series, Moon Knight, the TV series, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and the original Avengers movie. But the greatest, these are the top things to see. If you have not seen these, please do so. Let us know down below if you disagree. The Civil War Captain America movie, Doctor Strange, the original, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Loki Season 1 and Season 2, and Deadpool vs. Wolverine. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk. There were a few other things that we'll discuss on the next segment. Marvel vs. DC, different superpowers that they would probably have if they were drunk, etc. But
we got a lot more to cover. If y'all want to see a part 2, let us know. We're going to see a part 2 for sure.
Please let us know.
I clamor for a part 2 because I think we can definitely, especially, we definitely get to a part 2. But
let us know in the comments down below, where does Marvel go from here, outside of what has already been released, and please let us know what movies you'd like to see, whether you think they're gonna actually happen or not. SoberKart signing out. Appreciate y'all watching.